Okay. Hello, welcome to the stream. My name is Milo. This week I'm playing Donkey Kong Land 2, first released in 1996 for the Game Boy, re-released in 2014 for 3DS Virtual Console, and now colorized into a Game Boy Color game in 2022 by a very special person who is joining me on commentary today. Hello, Ape.
Hello. That's me.
Yeah, that's that's Special Agent Ape, who also did the Donkey Kong Land 1 colorization hack earlier. It's now moved on to the second one, so that's cool. Just reboot the game.
Yeah, and I got a lot of requests for the second one, so
oh yeah, okay.
I was kind of surprised.
Well, you've seemed to have done a good job, but we'll find out by playing it today.
I hope so.
Yeah, I did ask Ape before.
Right here on the title screen, I can say I didn't bother to initialize the sprite, so it's just using palette 0 on those sparkles.
Oh, okay. This one had already been partially colorized for the Super Game Boy, right?
Yeah, I tried to use that as a reference, but I didn't get it like exactly the same because the way I had these like read the like single screen palettes was like I would have like color and then amount and then color and then amount, and it would just go in order for like the flat screens. So I would put like palette 0 and then like 254 times, you know.
I'm not really sure what that means, but it sounds impressive.
No, it's actually kind of, it was a pain.
Yeah. Gibbon's in chat. Hello, Gibbon. Can you let me know if the audio balance is okay between me, Ape, and the game? I think I've got it set up okay, but yeah. Let's get started. The first thing you want to know about this hack is when you're on the world map screen, you can press select, and there's extra features that Ape has implemented. I'm amazed that you got this working.
It actually, like, when you hold the button, it like keeps toggling it on and off, but I didn't. It was kind of a pain to get the.
Okay.
I just added like a delay after you hit the button when you turn options on and off. And I figured like most people want the follower Kong on by default, so I just kind of left it.
Yeah, that's great. So the original Donkey Kong Land games just had one Kong on screen at a time and the other one in reserve off screen. But Ape's managed to implement, just like the SNES game, the second Kong will follow you around. And this is the most hilarious addition to me, New Kitty Mode, backporting Kiddy Kong from Donkey Kong Land 3 into Donkey Kong Land 2. It's almost like Knuckles in Sonic 2 kind of thing.
Yeah, it was nice for testing because I made it function as like an extra hit. So like, I would use it to cheese some levels that I was bad at.
I like the color choice here. It's a bit of a Trans Pride Gangplank Alien. Nice.
It was tough to pick, like, I kind of went with like a pastelish thing here because it's like I needed something that will work for both like the ship and the water. There's a lot of stuff like that going on where like a lot of colors are chosen like out of necessity rather than like what I actually wanted, but I think this one turned out pretty okay. Yeah,
and we'll see over the course of the game those kinds of choices. Now I expect there to be a door here, but there's not because Donkey Kong Land 2...
Yeah, Land 2 is weird. Land 2 is super weird. Oh yeah, that was... So Kiddy's always the first hit consumed, so that's why.
Yeah, he's playable, but in New Kitty Mode, he'll always be defeated first, saving you that hit for the other two.
Yeah, you kind of have to opt in.
I'm happy to opt in. But... I will be using emulator features too to get through this. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a 100% run, but I don't want to spend too much time replaying stuff during the stream, so I'll rewind if I need to.
I actually haven't tried SNES hacking. I'd like to give it a try sometime. Backporting.
So greedy, Gibbon. Oh, that's death. Okay.
I mean, really, Kitty Mode in this, it's pretty much just a reskin over Diddy. Like, it's just like an animation skin.
Yeah, let's show you how that works. So you basically cycle through all three. You have a team of 3, although Kitty's not represented. Or, 3 at a time is not represented.
Yeah, and it also adds a plus to the UI when you have Kitty, which was another little extra thing just to make sure that.
Yeah.
And like in the first version of
Oops.
this, so for some reason, like the other, like if you're riding like Rambi or whatever, it uses a completely different damage routine than the other ones.
Oh, weird.
So I had to like do a thing with like version 1.2 or whatever this version is, where it won't show the plus when you're on Rambi, even though you still have him. It'll still retain him, but if you get hit, you would just go straight down to 1 hit if you're on Rambi or whatever.
I'm seeing a bit of sprite flickering and stuff. This might be a function of playing this on the Gambate emulator. I know with the Land 1 patch, you sort of published warnings about some emulators not running it quite right.
Yeah, so one of the things that the LAN games do is they update during times where it's not like necessarily safe to update sprites. Because like during certain points when it's drawing to the screen, you actually can't like access your video RAM.
Oh.
So that's why a lot of like the sprite glitches happen, which some emulators actually don't like do that quirk. And LAN 3 gets around it in a different way, but I tried to implement that and it didn't work the same way, so I'm not quite sure. I'd like to go back and like mess with it more, but at some point, you know, you just gotta say, okay, I worked on this enough.
I noticed that LAN 2 does not have the intermediate sprites of transferring between two ropes, so you just kind of hop over between them. I've only played LAN 2 twice myself.
With the follower Kong also, like, if you're standing still, it'll like bump them backward, and I had to like have special things where it's like on certain animations it won't do that, so I just have like a whole table where it's like, okay, don't do that when you're doing the climbing animation, because otherwise they'll just go mid-air or whatever.
Okay. Oh,
those screens were a pain.
This is a new feature that wasn't actually implemented by Ape. Ape's patch includes an earlier patch by Blaziken257, which has music fixes for the game. One of their fixes was restoring the titular tableau song to these pre-bonus screens, and also making it so that you have to press a button to advance them, which is how it worked in the GBA games.
Yeah, it's a little weird because like they use that for like Swanky doesn't appear in the game,
right?
But they use that song for the credits.
Oh, oops.
Originally, so there's a lot of weird music choices in LAN 2 that make it definitely a little bit weird.
We'll cover those as we get to them, but there's a couple other fixes that Blaziken had in the music patch, including restoring the unused boss theme. Originally, all bosses used the K-Rool theme, the K-Rool boss theme.
Yeah, I was actually like considering like for some levels like taking some songs from LAN 3 because, well, I guess a little bit spoilers for later, but I ported the entire soundtrack. And I was thinking of like doing some of those, but it was a tough choice to make anything fit, so I just kind of left them.
Where is the bonus in this stage? Do all the stages only have one bonus?
It's down. Climb downward from where you're at.
Okay.
I think.
It's good to have an expert here. Like I was saying, I've only played the game twice. Once on emulator when I was first setting up that kind of thing on my computer. Whoops. Well. And then again when it was released on 3DS Virtual Console. Speaking of Blaziken257, I've also applied another one of their patches. Among the things that they've published on romhacking.net is a fix for screen flashing that existed in the vanilla game. For the Virtual Console release, Nintendo adjusted the screen flashing in certain stages to make it slower and less likely to...
They were also the ones that did the translation for LAN 3, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So it's less likely to upset photosensitivity, and I've applied that patch on top of Ape's patch. Hopefully that doesn't cause any unforeseen problems. But yeah, that means that more than the base game, this should be better for epilepsy and such. So
we'll see. Hopefully.
yeah, we'll see. Is this a warp? Yeah, I found the secret warp.
There's some. I changed how certain levels actually work with the flashing. So like Glimmer's Galleon doesn't actually flash anymore. It just kind of like dims.
Oh, okay. So you already fixed that for at least Glimmer's Galleon. That's good. That's good to hear. I'm returning to the first stage just to get the bonus, which I missed.
If you need to do like a fresh patch, if it like does cause problems, it should be pretty okay for that.
Yeah.
I will say some emulators do Lava Lagoon differently in a way that is a little flashy and weird. When you fall inside the lava. We'll get there when we get there, I guess, but
yeah,
that level is bad and I hate it.
Blazerkin's patch does mention that level, so it should be fine for that. Where is the DK coin on this level?
Which one's this? This is
I've gone back to Pirate Panic. There it is. I just missed that barrel before.
Yeah, right there.
I think I should be able to. Yep, start and select. Awesome. Okay. Hang on. So I did this level, but I didn't get anything. Okay.
Oh yeah, the other thing I can kind of mention,
yes.
When you pause the game, it like does like a thing where it dims the screen. Land 3 doesn't do that, but it actually does in the non-color version. So I was like, oh, they really didn't implement the thing for this, because it like relied on like a pocket only like screen effect, and then like when they went to do it on the Game Boy Color, I guess they just didn't bother, but I bothered.
Yeah, you sure did. I heard that.
But you can also see I changed some tiles, so if you pause when you're standing next to that edge there, and you can kind of see some like
which edge?
Like pause right there.
Down here.
And you can kind of see like.
Oh. You mean that?
Yeah, I had to change some like tiles around to get some of the color tricks to work.
Okay.
So that kind of exposes what I did.
Oops.
But I don't think most people will notice or care.
What is this door for?
It's for nothing. Land 2 is weird.
Okay. Good to know.
But yeah, that door doesn't do anything. I think it's supposed to be like an exit door for a bonus room or something, but I'm not sure. I've seen so many people like try and run in that door, and it's like, no, that's not me. I didn't do that. It's just a weird sign.
Yeah, there's some oddities here. And of course, as with all land games, there's no animal crates to ride on the buddies. You transform into them.
Yeah, the other thing, that sprite glitch like consistently affects Rambi, and it's really annoying. I really tried to fix it, but there's just... I think most of the sprites display just fine, but on most emulators, but...
Yeah, is that one of the things that doesn't happen on real hardware? There's a lot of sprite glitches.
Well, that actually does, but it's... You know how like with the land games, that glitch where like lines sometimes show up in sprites?
Yeah.
It's basically that happening, but like the timings were changed because there's new code in the middle of all that, and also like I'm using the Game Boy double speed mode. So it's basically just like that, but with like different timings making it appear differently. So it's a glitch that already existed in the game. It's not something that my patch introduced, but
well,
it just
you're off the hook then.
manifested in a slightly different way.
Notice
Which is really annoying because there's definitely like an emphasis from people on getting like things to work perfectly on hardware, and sometimes it's not as simple as they think, you know.
Notice how they hid the DK coin and the bonus in the same spot on that level. Pretty tricky. So let's go and meet Wrinkly. Come on in and sit down, children.
Oh, I was so glad that the follow Kong like worked on those screens without me needing to do much.
Nice. Tell these naughty Kremlings it's English tomorrow.
Technically, how the follow Kongs work is that I spawn in a wrinkly Kong and change her animation, basically.
Wow. Yeah, Diddy's animation there is not as full as it is in regular level, I believe.
Yeah, it's missing a couple frames, but it works for most of their animations, I think. And you can see like Dixie's is also slightly off if you were to switch to it, she holds her blink a little bit too long, but
oh yeah,
she still plays basically her whole animation. So
just a little bug with the follower Kong thing.
Yeah.
So when you implemented Kitty, you said it was just a skin over Diddy, so he doesn't have his water skip ability? No.
No. Well, he doesn't have that in Land 3 either.
Okay, fair enough. Now you'll be hearing Lockjaw's saga right now.
Definitely save before you go into Lava Lagoon, because if there were going to be like a problem with the emulator, it would be there.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
I know you asked before the stream if I knew whether it would work on this emulator or not, but so far it's worked on like every emulator I've tried except like one. So.
Oh, okay. Which one?
It was one on like we were trying it on the like SNES Classic, like one of them that comes packed with that. It crashed at Lava Lagoon. Well, we were trying to stream it too, so it was a little embarrassing, but you know, it happens.
Yeah. Especially when you're making such big changes to the game. Oop. Ah. Well.
I never played these games on Game Boy back in the day. How does it hold up? I think this game holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
I think especially compared to the first one, like the physics are better. It just feels better. Controls better.
And it's also just really impressive how they made it feel so close to the SNES country games while being on such a limited system as the Game Boy. The sprite art is still very much those silicon graphics, pre-rendered things that we saw in the
I think the game looks great.
Yeah.
Obviously, like they toned down the backgrounds. Like you can tell there's a lot of like empty space.
Yes.
In the background, so that it displays better on a non-color Game Boy, because like the original Land game had like such bad ghosting that it's like really hard to play on like the green Game Boy.
I'm actually getting lost in this stage. But yeah, like the backgrounds in Donkey Kong Land 1 were almost too detailed, and they've taken away a lesson from that and made them a lot more sparse in this game. So you can see some textures here and there, but otherwise these big white empty spaces, especially on this level. That would have made it show up better on an original Game Boy. That actually caused a lot of
problems when coloring it, though.
Yeah, I imagine it would, yeah.
Because they would use like a lot of negative space, and they would use that for both like the ground and like the backgrounds. And so like I would have to use colors that would work for both like the background and for the floor for certain archetypes. Like the beehive levels I'm super not happy with. Well, I will get there, but
so this level's such a maze that I made it to the end without finding either the bonus or the DK. I believe there's only one bonus per stage in this game. Oh no, I did get the bonus. What? Or does it not exist? I need to look this up.
The DK thing is there's like a Shuri toward the end.
Okay.
I think, and you have to go behind it. I remember World 1 and World 2 basically, and then after that my brain gets fuzzy.
No problem. I went to remind myself to go to the Mario Wiki page for Donkey Kong Land 2, which has a pretty good listing of all the content of the game, including the levels and where the bonuses are and stuff. It reminded me that there's a glitches page on Mario Wiki where you can put down a barrel, but if you do it while standing on one of these, it'll fall through, apparently, but it's not doing it.
I think it's on, like, if they're stacked.
Oh, if they're stacked, yeah. Okay.
Like those, I think, maybe? Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
That
Myth,
might be
myth busted.
That might be country too.
No, I'm on the Land 2 page on Mario Wiki. Sinking
Yeah,
barrel.
I remember reading about that, but I never really tried it.
There's some other glitches, but it's sort of minor stuff that probably won't come up. Although there is one here that I wanted to ask you about. Diddy icons on Crocodile Isle overworld map. So when you beat a world, it's supposed to show the face of the Kong that beat it. But by mistake...
For some reason it always shows Diddy's.
Yeah, it always shows Diddy.
I think there's like a way, there's like a patch to fix that. Also, this rain effect I added.
Yeah, that's really cool. You say you reused the rain graphics from Donkey Kong Land 3, but custom coded.
Yeah, I booted up my 3DS, where I had a completed file. And I had to rip the graphics that way, because I was like, I'm not playing all the way up there and trying to find it. But that's basically, that rain graphic, it's loaded in... So the Game Boy Color actually has like a second VRAM bank. And so I just load a bunch of graphics in at the start. And that's one of them. It's just now always loaded, basically. Even though I only use it on this, like, 2 levels, I think. It's this one and Creepy Crow, I think.
Oops. Now, I've heard you can defeat a Klinger. Yeah, you can actually defeat a Klinger by jumping between the ropes when they're there. So that's a little shortcut for this bonus.
You can do that in the SNES games too, but like the spacing on it's like a lot pickier.
It is,
in this one, it's like it does not care.
Captain's asking in chat if this color mod will work if you flash it to a cart and play it on a GBA.
It should. It might have some like minor graphical stuff. Basically, it'll look about the same as it looks here.
Where is this leading?
As far as I had a friend, like, I don't actually have a flash cart myself, so I haven't really tested it on hardware, but I had a friend play the first, like, couple worlds and test it and make sure.
You get a lot more of a bounce off a click-clack in Land 2 than you do in Country 2, where you sort of knock back a little bit. Sorry, I'm very familiar with Country 2.
The physics are definitely, like, close, but, like, a little bit off.
Yeah, and you jump a lot higher as well.
I think it's just to make it a little floatier, to make it nicer since you have such little screen real estate.
Yeah. And it does
probably like makes
that.
it.
Oh, Brian's here in chat, says looks good. Yeah. Ape did a great job with this and with the Land 1 color hack too. So you can check those both out on romhacking.net.
If you want a little peek behind the curtain, this is another one of those where you can pause and see, like, I did a weird thing with the palettes here.
Yeah?
So, yeah, you see the clouds there?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't look like it was raining. It didn't look like it was raining with the clouds there, so I just kind of made them invisible with palette tricks instead of... But you can see them if you pause.
Pretty sneaky.
Yeah, there's things like that. I thought it looked goofy to have both the rain and the clouds, so... Wanted to make it look a little gloomier. So,
despite the graphical sort of glitching of that barrel, it was an invincibility exclamation mark barrel. That I guess is supposed to help you get through this bit. Although it ran out partway through it.
I'm actually not very good at this game, so the fact that I was able... I'm like way better at the retro DKCs than I am at the rare ones, but I guess I had to kind of get better at this one to color it because I had to play it over and over. Although you'd be surprised how like little you actually play a game when you're coloring it, because like you do like the first like couple seconds of a level and go, all right, the colors look good. Let's go to the next one. I like downloaded like a save from like, I don't know, like GameFAQs or something. That like had all the exits and stuff, or all the coins.
I have so many extra lives right now. Should be noted that on Donkey Kong Land it displays your life counter with hearts along the bottom of the HUD there, you can have more lives than are displayed on there. And yes, this is out. You can get it on romhacking.net right now. Go get that K-Rool. He just ain't cool. We don't need to hire the plane. But I will just hang on this screen for a second so we can enjoy the music and the colors.
Oh yeah, Funky is a sprite that just does not ever like to display right. I fought with him so much during testing because, so this is one of those things that it depends on the emulator, but if you do it on like Visual Boy or on like 3DS Virtual Console Injection, he'll display perfectly. In fact, those two are probably the best ways to play it because they just don't really have any problems.
Yeah, well, I apologize for choosing the emulation that I did. I'm playing on the Gambate core in OpenEMU for Mac. And yeah, that's most convenient for me, but it has a few compatibility problems, it seems, sadly.
I mean, this is basically how it would display on hardware. There's like just a couple minor things that happened because of how the game was coded.
Enjoy the boss music that Blaziken 257 reinstated, by the way, as mentioned earlier. There is this 8-bit chiptune version of David Wise's boss.
Crazy that it's just in the game. Like normally it just plays the final boss theme for all of them.
Yeah, but the like you said, the music exists in the game's data. Blaziken just had to enable the flag for it to be played here. I'll mention here that the music, of course, was all composed by David Wise for the SNES game. Grant Kirkhope converted it for the Game Boy format, and that was his first job when he started at Rare, was converting those tunes into Game Boy versions. Before he then went on to work on GoldenEye.
I would save real quick before you go in here so that you don't get stuck before Lava Lagoon, because
good plan.
That patch might conflict. I have no idea.
We'll find out. And yeah, as we said, I just beat Crow as Dixie, but the icon is Diddy. That is a bug in the game.
Yeah, that's in the original game. I didn't do that.
So you might have noticed by now that the game is very similar to Donkey Kong Country 2 in structure, unlike Donkey Kong Land 1 and 3, which have a lot of differences in the world maps and stuff. This is kind of a retake on the story of DKC2, but all the level designs are brand new. The main exception to that is a couple of levels where the concepts didn't work when converted to Game Boy, and they changed the level name as well. We'll get to those later. There's only a couple of them. But World 2 is a big thing. They merged Crocodile Cauldron and Creme Key into one world, Creme Cauldron.
Most of their like replaced levels are like really weirdly easy compared to the levels around them.
Yeah. Okay, hot head hot. Let's get into it. And that means that there's actually one less boss in this version compared to DKC2, right? I don't remember which one.
Yeah, it cuts out. What's the one that's the Clubba reskin?
Cudgel.
Cudgel, yeah. They cut out him, but his sprite's still in the game because Clubba's here. So
that's true. So you do all the volcano levels, you do all the swamp levels, and then you fight the Cutlass boss. How do I get this exactly? Diddy has fire jump.
You need Squitter. Squitter's further in the level.
Right. Is there much of a difference between the two in this game? I know that Dixie has the ponytail twirl, which is kind of a nice feature for survivability.
There's less of a difference than normal because all of the playable Kongs in the land games, their momentum is the same basically.
Right. That's okay. So
because normally Diddy would be like faster, but also you have to press select, which is a really annoying thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So in Country, Diddy runs faster, jumps higher. Not the case here. So yeah, Squitter has 2 types of web in Country, but in Land he's just got one. The attack web can turn into a platform web when you press select.
Oh yeah,
It's-
DS in the chat is saying you wouldn't be able to tell them apart if both Clubba and Cuddle were in.
That's
Cause
true. Not in the monochrome version, anyway.
yeah, I do feel like the cut that they made makes sense. Also, he's like the biggest sprite in the game. Like he actually uses like more sprites than I think. Yeah, I think he's like using like half the sprite RAM just for that one sprite for Clubba. So
Wow.
I don't think it would be very good for a boss battle.
Just changing the control so it's easier for me to hit select in a hurry. I'm using a DualShock 4, so if I hit the middle pad, that's easier than reaching over the share button. I was talking before about how the sprites look really good. They're using the same basis in terms of the 3D renders when being converted into sprites. But there are some alterations. You can see here that Squidder's sprite is a bit simpler than it is in the country games, with kind of a plain color on the back instead of the spots.
They got rid of his like patterns on his back.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
I wonder if that was like hand done or if they like took a made a simpler model or like took away some textures or something.
I feel like it would be easier to hand do it for the Game Boy. Maybe a good time to also mention, because I did some research on the developers involved. The graphics team consisted of Kerry Gunn and Dean Smith. Kerry Gunn is interesting. She's the little sister of somebody who worked on the original DKC2, Brendan Gunn, the technical programmer. So
I know she worked on Pocket Tales also.
yes, she did. Yeah.
I think she followed me on Twitter when I was doing the Pocket Tales HD stuff.
Nice. Yeah,
So,
from what I could tell from
I'm
her...
sure they look very fondly back at that project.
Yeah, from what I could tell from the list of games she'd worked on, the one that maybe she had the most sort of lead role on was Saberwolf GBA, where she's credited for character art. And that has a fun cast of characters. Okay. The Cannonball despawned, so I just have to rewind to go back and get it. Because
Yeah, we recently streamed that with my roommates, and
yeah,
I feel like it's a flawed but good game.
it is. I'd agree with that.
I feel like it really needs like a radial to like select your like tools.
Yeah, cycling through the list of animals is a bit of a hassle, eh?
They just didn't have enough buttons.
Okay. My prize for bypassing the goal was a single banana. Lovely.
Yeah, usually that's about what you get.
I think I've decided not to worry about 100% by this point. Which means we won't see the second boss fight.
There's a cheat. You can do a cheat code
There
on the
is.
title screen to get all the coins.
That's right, I forgot about that. I was reading that among the changes made to the Japanese version of the game, which included making the game a little bit easier by removing some enemies here and there, they also removed the cheat codes, strangely, which would make things a lot easier, but oh well. They also changed the name of the game. The original Donkey Kong Land was called Super Donkey Kong GB, going off the Japanese name for the Donkey Kong Country being Super Donkey Kong. Yeah, so instead of Donkey Kong Land 2, this is called Donkey Kong Land in Japan. Not confusing at all. And then they didn't get Land 3 originally. It took an additional 3 years, at which point they got a color converted version of it called Donkey Kong GB Dinky Kong and Dixie Kong. Dinky is first listed, and Dinky is the Japanese name for Kiddy Kong. So there's a lot of changes happening over there with the names.
Yeah, I did use that version as like a reference for like my palettes and stuff, because basically at the start of the game for Land 3, they initialize all of the sprite palettes to like a preset list of 8 palettes of different colors, and they just use that for the whole game. And so I basically did the same here and just kind of tried to recreate the look of that, because I figured like people would play them back to back, you know.
That's very clever. I'm impressed by that.
was difficult because it's like I feel like a little nervous about people like comparing them because my color choices have to be a little bit more simple in some spots because I don't really have a map editor. Like presumably if they needed to make changes to a map to make certain color changes work, you know, they can just like, oh, I'll just like edit the map and, you know, make the foreground a little nicer, but okay, it doesn't seem to be crashing. So
Yeah, here's Lava Lagoon.
Yes, this is the one. This is the worst. I hate this level.
Because of the palette stuff?
That's all I can really say about it.
So, presumably it's that flashing that was toned down by the patch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good change.
There's like a minor like visual glitch that I just could not fix if you were to let the lava fill up the entire screen.
Oh yeah.
It'll like kind of flicker at the top, and every emulator like emulates it differently. Also, that's another visual glitch that happens. Lava Lagoon is not my favorite. I'll put it that way. It's mostly just like a lot of minor visual glitches, but like doesn't feel great when, you know.
Yeah. I know what you mean when you're trying to put out a polished product.
Programming. Like that's just more like me not being able to figure out this like dumb routine.
Yep.
I feel like a lot less bad about like the sprite stuff because it's like, oh, that's just in the original game. It's just displaying itself differently. Because these games were like listed on like Nintendo put out a list when the Game Boy Color came out. Like I read an article that said basically like these games were on a list of games that just did not display properly on the Game Boy Color because it talks about like the lines glitch in sprites. And the reason for that is like very slight like clock timing changes between like the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. It's actually pretty strange. It doesn't like impact most games because they just like draw sprites during the. What's the best of the original levels? I think my favorite. I like the ice one where you have to slide across Clapper's Cavern. I think is what it's called.
Oh, so they kept the sliding mechanic in this.
Yeah, you still have to like kind of keep momentum and.
Nice. Yeah.
I feel like they did a really good job at like translating a lot of the level concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Clapper's Cavern in the original game a lot because it's like one of the few ice levels where you can actually like slide and have fun, I guess. It's hard to do an ice level right. I feel like DKC does a good job at that. It's weird how few levels Tropical Freeze has that are icy.
Well, that's the thing about ice levels. People generally don't like ice physics and they don't like water levels, so minimizing them I think is a good decision. Like just having a few.
I don't know, bro, because like they're so fun in Tropical Freeze. You get so much momentum. Like the one where you're sliding on the popsicles and stuff, and you just like get boosted across the ice is so cool.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That is very fun.
Also, this is my least favorite level in both this game and the SNES Country 2.
I know speedrunners hate it too, because it makes you wait.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta sit there, and it's like you can't really... Yeah, I feel bad I'm not checking the chat enough, so I'll try and keep a better eye on it.
That's okay. I've got it here too, right next to my eye line, so I can call out anything happening. And I feel like I've missed some stuff up the top of the screen there. There's a lot of vertical space on this section.
Yeah, I think there's like a hero coin or something up there.
Dang it. So you call them hero coins.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're called in the manual.
It's true. I guess it was Country
Mario
3
Wiki
that called
call
them DK coins. But usually whenever they appear in any other game, they're still called DK coins. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it must have been a bonus or something.
So they do appear. You were just playing King of Swing on the DK Vine Twitch.
Yeah.
They're sort of in that. In the form of gold,
like
silver, and
tokens.
bronze medals. But they're definitely in Jungle Climber. They're in the Wii version of Jungle Beat. They're in Barrel Blast actually, I think.
I never got too far in Barrel Blast because it hurts my arms.
Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I've got a very fond spot for it. Soft spot, whatever. All right, Squawks' Shaft. Do you have anything to say about the palettes in the mine levels?
Well, I think the main thing was I was trying to make them like the foreground very visually distinct from the background because this was one of the few levels where I actually could like really separate the different layers. You can still see I kind of had to go for like an in-between on the corners of the... I went for like a mid shade that kind of works for both. But
Yeah,
it's definitely...
this kind of teal color. I think it works.
Yeah, I went for like an in-between.
I've just noticed as well, by the
Also-
way, that the song Cannon's Claim, aka Mining Melancholy, is not in this game at all because they've used the lava music for the mine levels.
Yeah, so the songs that are missing, they're missing Cannon's Claim, they're missing Forest Interlude, I think,
Oh, that's a shame.
and they're missing, and then they're missing the Lost World levels. I don't remember what that one's called. I thought about filling this one in with like one of the DK Land 3 tracks, but I decided against it. I was gonna
Sure.
do like the Cliff one because it uses like the same riff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Evelyn Novakovic's soundtrack for DKC3 is highly underrated. And she also did the Conker's Pocket Tales soundtrack. Which
Yeah,
we should
I
be
love
seeing
that.
soon. I'll show that off. But again, much like Grant Kirkhope working on Wise's tracks for this, she was converting Robin Beanland's tracks for the in development 12 Tales Conquer 64 to the Game Boy format. So she might have composed some of them, but I'm not sure.
I think most of them were definitely 12 Tales stuff. I think it was a similar situation to this, but
Yeah.
just for the game that never came out.
Exactly. It's such a weird situation.
I do like that you can like hear versions of the song in the Rare Replay, like what do they call it?
The videos?
There's like you can unlock like 2 12 Tales songs in the Rare Replay
Museum?
like bonus feature.
Gallery thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. And there is, of course, one
I
track
think it's the one
in
from
the final Bad
Villain.
Fur Day that was originally from 12 Tales. All the other music was newly made for Bad Fur Day, but the old chap, aka the music that plays when you...
When you're peeing on the fire ants.
Yeah, is it when you get drunk all the time, or is it... Cause
It's when it's just when you're on. I think it's just during that section with the fire imps and.
Yeah,
then,
okay.
there's like one other spot in the game it plays.
Yeah, I feel like there is, but I can't remember when. Because you do the same mechanics in Rock Solid, but it's still playing the Rock Solid techno
Yeah, it
music.
still keeps playing though.
It's the one that goes dun, 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 dun. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think. Where's the other spot that plays? I think it plays when you're riding on Mr. Barrel.
Perhaps.
I don't know. I don't play Conquer very often anymore.
And I find it very
I
hard
used to play it a
to
lot when I was doing the
picture
Pocket Sales
music.
stuff, but
I find it hard to imagine music, especially when other music is playing. Hooray. Okay.
this one was another one where it was hard to get like the foreground and background to be distinct because it's like sharing a lot of the graphics for those background trees with other stuff.
Hmm.
So I would have wanted to like make that like swamp background like a little differently colored, but them's the breaks sometimes.
Yeah. You have a hard job converting something that was never meant to be seen in that way and coded for a monochrome system.
I feel like Land 1 was a little better because of the detailed backgrounds. It was a little easier to color, but this one actually, like, the empty space became like a real problem. I still feel like it looks visually like night and day compared to the original, but
Oh yeah, I think it's a big improvement. It
definitely
makes it a lot
gotta-
more playable, especially in modern day.
you can definitely see some of the limitations of how I had to do it, but I do feel like it makes the game a better game.
Yeah. Not to mention the other changes you've made to improve things.
Those were more for my own fun.
Yeah, just the fun extra features. I really like those. I like in your
Ported it to
DKL1
Land 3.
hack
I
as
ported the
well.
follow clone. I ported the follow clone to Land 3, but I need to like test it still. But I'd like
Oh.
to release that at some point
Yeah, nice.
because I could literally just reuse my code because it runs on the same engine. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you managed to get the level names to display in DK Land 1 when ordinarily they were only in the manual. That's my favorite feature that you added for that one.
thank you.
But
Basically that's the same sort of stuff as the.
what? Oh.
I basically load them into memory at the start, just like the raindrops in this, and they're just like always loaded.
Oh wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you know, you got that extra VRAM bank, you gotta use it.
Sure, might as well. It certainly
one
makes
of the
your
things
job
with the
easier.
follow cone here,
Yeah.
in order to make like space for the sprite, I actually at the start of like level load, it copies a bunch of tiles into like the other VRAM bank. Yeah, I changed how this works. I don't know if this will cooperate with the anti-flicker or not, but
We'll see.
it should with how I coded it.
This is a really interesting trivia thing about this game. Oh yeah, so instead of flickering, it now dims progressively. That's a great feature. I love that.
Thank you.
So it was less necessary to
It also
install
kind of
Blazerkin's patch
exposes-
than I thought it would be, because you already made this change, which is nice.
It also kind of exposes how this level works, because if you'll hit certain barrels, you'll occasionally like get it to a lower flicker level or dimness level than what you're at. And that's actually like the timer lowering on the thing, but because the barrels are just coded to set like the timer to a specific value when you hit them.
Okay.
So you'll see that later in the level, I think. This level wasn't as bad as I thought it would be to code, so I'm thankful for that.
Oh yeah, it just did it. I hit that barrel and it went
Yeah.
a bit dimmer. Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes to like a specific value, so. But I basically like just based it on like whatever timer value it's setting that to, so.
I see. This level also exposes another thing about the base game, which is that it's still called Glimmer's Galleon, but Glimmer does not appear. Instead, he's replaced by these light barrel things, which work a little bit similar to the light fishes in Donkey Kong Country 3's level that I don't remember the name of that was similar to this.
I was thinking of trying to like code him in as like a,
Oh yeah.
like sort of like the follow Kong, but. I
But
don't know.
yeah, but there's not even sprites for him. That would have been tricky.
No. I would have had to I would have had to like decolorize a sprite from.
Yeah, manually.
I don't know. And people get mad. Here's the thing: when you make a color hack, people get mad when you make changes that aren't color.
Oh no, I'm
Even
happy
this-
with them.
Well, yeah, like some people do though. Like you'll get purists that'll be like, oh, like I like looked up the color hack a bit like after it released and like saw like some dumb 4chan article where they're like, oh, makes features you can't turn off, and it's like, did you read the README? You can turn them off. You can read them all. You can turn them all off.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. But that's the kind of thing that I don't know. ROM hacking is like you go pretty unappreciated, I guess, when you go to do some of these things. People think it's a lot easier than it is.
It is a lot of work. I definitely could not do this, so I'm very pleased with what you've done.
I mean, the only reason I can do it is that I work from home and have a lot of free time. So. But I am working on currently a colorization for Mega Man. What's it? Wily's Revenge. That's pretty close to. It's getting pretty far along.
In case you missed it, by the way, the box art for Donkey Kong Land 2 does have Glimmer on it in the background, down here.
Oh yeah.
But he does not appear in the game. That's just a funny thing.
It's pretty funny they did it that way.
Yep. That's just a render they made for DKC2, and they just used it as the box art. It's kind of appropriate though.
And I think they used it. Didn't they use it the box art or like the title screen for like the European version of MG2 on GBA?
On GBA,
Something
yes,
like that.
yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Kind
of a weird choice, but.
I was going to say it's kind of appropriate considering how often Lockjaw's Saga is used in this game.
Yeah.
It kind of represents the game well by having that as the representative image.
Yeah, it's a good version of Lockjaw's Saga, but not over and over again.
Yeah, it gets used in the masked top levels and some other places as well where they had removed the original music, so Lockjaw's Saga gets inserted a lot into this game. So much that
it also there's another thing that the hack changes is that some of the ship levels like used it, like Rattle Battle, even though they have the right song for that.
Yeah,
so I don't know what that's about.
Bizarre. So that's another thing that Blaziken fixed with the patch that is included in Ape's patch, was restoring music to Rattle Battle as well as, what was the other one? Got a note about it here. Gangplank Galley, yes, okay. Now uses Snaky Shanty instead of Lockjaw's Saga. When they did a spotlight on Land 2 on the Conversation, Heil decided to put in Lockjaw's Saga, the track, as a bed underneath the entire episode as a funny joke, as a reference to how often it gets used in the game itself, which is funny when you think about it for 2 seconds, but not funny when you listen to a 3-hour discussion on the game, I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Ooh. Lucked into that one.
Oh, I guess I can mention, so you know it's like some of the crockheads boost you up and some of them don't?
Yes.
So the way my colors are actually assigned is based on the animation ID and not like the actual sprite. So I couldn't like do anything fancy, like make it so that the ones that boost you up have the right palette or anything.
Brown, yeah. That's too bad. Oh well.
You also like run into that with like, what are they called? Crunches. When you jump on them, it'll like turn them red for their like hitting animation,
yes.
But then once they go back to the run, it turns them back to blue, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, well,
I tried.
Having that red flash, I think, is enough for the purposes. And yeah, here we are with Snaky Shanty playing on Rattle Battle, as it should be, unlike the original game. So thank you, Blaziken.
This was one of the palettes I actually redid for 1.2 because I wasn't happy about it. So
oh yeah.
It was a little too green.
So would you consider 1.2 the final patch now?
I'd say so.
That's
I've kind of moved on from it.
So everyone, don't feel afraid to go out and download the patch. It's not going to be updated anymore.
haven't gotten any bug reports since, so I got like a couple for 1.1, but
Ugh. I could go back to that, right? Yeah. It's only the retro
I think at
games
this
that lock
point
you
it's-
out of
it's
getting a
pretty
bonus
viable.
after you fail it. The rare games do not do that.
yeah, I definitely prefer it this way.
Yes.
Give you infinite tries, or at least like if you fail it, like push you backward a little bit in the level instead of putting you forward.
Yeah.
I say that even like absolutely loving the retro games. I'm
Oh,
like,
absolutely. I'm a fan of them as well, but there's just a few design choices here and there that I disagree with. Oh. Let's just backtrack for that DK there. I really like Rattly's sprite in the HUD, it's very cute. Those must have been custom.
yeah, I think so. They had one that was like a DK barrel that they used for the country GBC, and I like took that for land 1
Whoop.
when I added like the HUD icon, and I think that was custom drawn also. I think these are all just
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't get it at first. Yeah, when you did the Land 1 colorization patch, you included a DK icon that would appear in the HUD to indicate that you had a backup Kong, which was not in the original game. And you took that from DKC GBC? You're
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, okay, cool. I know you
And then
also...
originally that would just like display in the bottom left corner in DKC GBC, even though it doesn't have like the heart, like the hearts representing lives. So I did like some custom code to like add
Interesting.
a section for that where it won't draw them. Also, this level is awful. I hate the programming for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's coming up. So this is...
It's
what was
not
it?
perfect, so don't die.
This isn't
Don't
Slime
expose
Climb.
the.
What's this called again?
This is Slime Climb.
Okay, this is Slime Climb. I was thinking of the tower one.
Toxic Tower.
Toxic Tower.
That'll come later.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I could reuse the code for that. This one was a nightmare level to get working.
Although this kind of does work like Toxic Tower because you instantly die when landing in the slime below, unlike in the original game where you wouldn't take damage from it, you would get attacked by a souped up lockjaw that was swimming around down there.
I think this level is like one of the hardest in the game. Like, it requires you to move pretty quick, and I could see like as like someone who had never played a DKC before, like really struggling here.
Fortunately, I have played a lot of them before.
Puts on sunglasses.
Yep. I've even played every fan game I could find. I haven't actually played too many like level ROM hacks. Haven't looked into that much.
I know there's like some around for like 2. I think 2 is the one people have the most interest in, so it's probably the one with the most hacking effort.
Yeah. I think if you would want to find them, you would go to DKC Atlas. But I've never really looked into it myself. I know there are hacks that are sort of Kaizo-like, making incredibly hard levels, because that's kind of easy to do as a level designer, is to make something hard. It's a little more difficult to make something fun than it is just to make something hard. Okay, that invincibility's got to be telling me something. Let's go there. Whoa. Background's very blue here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is a weird thing. So that's the palette that the level like initializes itself to, but then when it's doing like all the slime stuff, it's like rendering it. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the only bonus that's programmed that way, so that's why some of them are a little weird looking. I don't think. The bonus levels in land one sometimes had a different level archetype from the main level. But in land 2, they're all the same, so I can just use the regular level palette normally. But there are some weird ones where it does stuff like that.
Can you remind me how the Lost World works in this game?
You get every single Krem coin and pay them all to Clubba up front.
And where is he in this one?
Right after Gloomy Gulch.
Okay, cool. Alright, so we're up to the boss of World 2/3, which is Cleaver. And
This
it
is
must
a weird
have been...
thing because like, you have to
Oh,
use like a cannon.
he throws barrels in this one. It works like K. Rool's fight.
Yeah. They changed how this works. So basically, like halfway through the fight, they're gonna spawn a cannon, and they never explain this, but you have to press B on the cannon to shoot a cannonball at him. It's very weird.
Huh. I don't remember this at all. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see it when it comes up. It's very strange. And also, they don't spawn hooks; they just spawn
Crockheads.
crockheads
Yeah.
instead.
Interesting.
I got real good at this fight during testing. I guess that's one benefit of having played it over and over again was that like certain sections I got pretty decent at. Having to do them over and over and over.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. It'll spawn the cannon, and then you press B on the shoot a cannonball.
That's bizarre. I missed it.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know why they did it that way.
I got him. Oh.
Yeah, I think you have to do it like twice.
Ugh. Sorry, Kitty. I haven't been using Kitty much, but I appreciate the extra hit that he's giving me. There we go. Wait, he gave me a banana coin?
Yeah, they don't give you Krem coins in this one.
There's so many little things that keep surprising me. Alright. Crazy Kremland. Oh, I did want to mention the palette thing going on in the world map of Krem Cauldron. How it sort of swaps
I'm
halfway.
super not proud of this, but
Yeah,
I tried.
I was going to say it must have been difficult because you got a very green world and a very orange world, and you have to put them together somehow. Yeah.
It's kind of funny in a way, but it's not my ideal situation. You only have like 8 palettes to work with, but then 2 of them are used for like UI stuff, and then so they got to be like shared, and then.
Okay.
I'm very proud of how this one looks once you can see further up in the overworld.
You had something to say about the hive levels, didn't you?
Yeah. So you see the floor, how it's just a plain blank yellow.
Yeah.
And then you see the sky, how it's just a plain blank yellow.
Uh-huh.
Those are the exact same tile.
Oh.
So since the way my thing assigns the palettes is based on the tile ID, which is completely separate from collision and anything else, they basically had to be the same, and that makes these levels look not as colorful as you would expect from the Game Boy Color. And there's some stuff where there's like sharing tiles with like the honey and the walls, and I don't know.
Yeah, it is a bit tricky to tell when there's honey on the walls. But yeah, again, this is not your fault. I noticed they fixed a mechanic in Land 2 that was in Country 2, which was also fixed, by the way, in the Donkey Kong Country The Trilogy fan game. When you're holding a barrel in Country 2, you could run freely on honey that's on the floor, but in Land 2, you still stick to it as you normally do, even when you're holding a barrel.
Oh, I gave Kitty actually will display properly on the honey, which I'm pretty happy about.
Ooh, well, I'll have to grab a DK barrel and find out. Oops, I forgot the squid.
There is a small glitch with it where if you get hit with Kitty on the honey, it like glitches out for a second.
Oh, I'll have to test that too.
Yeah, show off the faults. I know that the programming's not perfect, so honestly, most of the minor glitches that I have here usually kind of funny and rather than actually distracting, so I don't feel too bad about them.
Okay, here's the sign. So, whoop, oh, I stumbled upon the DK coin. That's great. All right, so Kitty. Oh, look at that. That's Kitty's rope climbing sprite. Reused for the honey wall. That's great.
Yeah, if you get hit while you're on there, it'll still display either Dixie or Diddy as Kitty until the animation changes, basically.
Well, I'll have to find an enemy. Oh!
Also, he has like a weird thing with the hooks, because there's no sprite for that.
Yeah, you're right. There wouldn't be.
It looks a little silly, but I'd like to go back and fix it sometime. But
yeah.
I didn't want to lose too much sleep over an optional feature. So.
There are horizontal ropes in. Are they in Land 3? Because they're in Country 3.
Yes.
Surely there's.
Yeah, it has the horizontal ropes. It just doesn't have the hooks.
Yeah, but surely there's a sprite from the horizontal rope climbing that could be used for the hook hanging.
There is, but it displays. So, I would have to like change how it like where it initializes the sprite because it basically would display it like his foot at the bottom of the hook, holding his hand up.
Huh. Okay. Yeah,
So,
that would be a problem.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just picked one that kind of worked, but not really.
Okay, I might be able to get the damage thing if I grab onto this honey, like so. Bit too high.
I think if you get hit and then jump on it immediately after, it'll still do it.
Wait.
Yeah, just jump on. Oh, maybe not.
Because I'm not Kitty after I get hit. And he always takes the first hit.
It's this kind of thing that like when I'm
work.
developing it, I stress over like crazy, but like the actual odds of people running into it are pretty unlikely.
I don't know.
It might have. Did I fix it?
Yeah, it didn't glitch out or anything that I could see.
That's weird. Well, I guess it can happen. Trademark. Sign.
Okay. Hello, dearies.
My favorite line of hers is when you try and pay and don't have enough money, and she says like, "Education isn't cheap."
No. Yikes.
Yeah, so I definitely have stuff to say about the gradient on the overworld when we get there.
Please. Oh yeah, well, we're still the lower half of the map. But yeah, it looks like they've preserved the mechanic from Country here with the barrels closing the gates and such. That's cool.
Yeah, they didn't do that for the plus and minus barrels later, but there's actually sprites for them in the game.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's just a mechanic that got abandoned, I guess. Also, I love the fireworks in these levels. It's cool that they like managed to get that detail across. Even with just like a couple pixels.
Yeah, let's... Yeah, you can just see them there. I'll try and hang around next time I'm standing still. So we can have a look at them. Oh! I'm not sure what I was supposed to do there. Okay.
If you hold forward, you'll go faster, I think.
What? Since when?
Yeah.
That is not a mechanic in Country. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know it is in the race level, but I didn't know it was in the other roller coaster levels. Oops, hold on. Let's look at those fireworks.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I've always liked this level archetype. I think the background's actually supposed to be like a grassy plain, but since I had to like split the level up how I did, it would also be using the same color for the sky.
Yeah, there's that gradient.
Yeah, so this gradient is doing an interesting thing because so the top color palette is actually the same as the very bottom color palette, and it just like inverts halfway through, so that I could get an extra color out of it, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and you've managed to achieve sort of demarcation between ground and sky. That's nice.
And getting the brambles to work on the left side was not pleasant.
Ooh,
but
okay.
I think it turned out okay.
Yeah, it did. Now this is the first time we're going to hear Stickerbush Symphony in the game. I got that right this time, didn't I?
I think it's Bush.
I always forget which one it is. Sometimes Gibbon corrects me. Oops. I noticed
Well, there goes
some
Kitty.
like letters appearing as the barrel rotated. There's a T, there's a J.
I can actually explain that. So basically, the game is trying to write sprite graphics during like an illegal time, and so those are the letter graphics from the overworld just not getting overwritten. So it's not a case of like it loading wrong graphics, it's a case of it not loading new graphics. And it's just occupying that spot in the RAM. That's why sometimes you'll see like sprites like half update. But like the explanation for actually why that happens is a bit complicated, but I could try it.
Sure. I'll be on this level for a while, I'm sure.
So basically, like the way that Game Boy graphics work are, they're basically constantly drawing to the screen, and they draw like a line by line, right? And so at the end of each line, there's a period where like it's not drawing anything because it's just finished drawing a line, and that's when the game tries to update its sprite graphic. It's because that you can access VRAM during that. But basically, since the game is trying to update so many graphics like in such a short amount of time, sometimes there's not enough time for that. So it does some like weird stuff to try and draw during like when it's not supposed to update. And yeah, that's what causes the random lines to appear, because it's actually just like right to the VRAM failing. And so it's not a case of like incorrectly loading graphics, it's a case of not updating graphics fully. So
Fascinating.
and then there's a period after the entire screen is drawn where like there's a long period of time where they can actually update graphics. And that's where most games decide to do their graphics updates, but obviously since this one just does not have the time to do all the graphics it needs to, it just does it during, you know. So that's why like this game in particular has problems if you change the clock timing. And all three LAN games are basically programmed that same way. I will say, like, the graphics routine itself, like, having messed with it, it's very, very good. Like,
Oops.
it's definitely doing a thing that I don't think any other Game Boy game is really attempting to do, which is impressive in its own way, even though it's not perfect.
Cool. Well, perhaps...
apparently, I talked with Paul. I always forget how to say his name. Yeah.
Makachek? Yep.
Makachek. And I talked with him on Twitter about it, and apparently, like, he gave like some code from Land 1 to basically build this routine. So, and this one's like even better than the Land 1 one also. So it's definitely so he didn't work on this one, but he did give code from Land 1 to make it happen.
Okay, fascinating. Yeah, I was going to mention the person who's credited as programmer on this game is Robert Harrison, the only programmer listed for this one. But yeah, if they're reusing code, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of code sharing going on for
Sure.
from the first game. But I will say the sprite drawing routine is different from this one. for this one compared to the first one.
So that's a Harrison original.
But then Land 2 and Land 3 are the same engine, like pretty much just straight up.
Okay. That was Bramble Blast, a tricky level in either version. And speaking of credits, I wanted to mention, since all the levels in this game are brand new designs, the game designer is Lee Schuneman, who was, very present at Rare in this era.
Yeah, I think at
they've
this
still
point
got the
I'm
race
more
mechanic in this. I
familiar
forgot
with-
about that. Only 5.
Yeah, you only have to win against 5.
Yeah, it's a bit shorter. But I'm definitely holding right now because that makes you go faster, apparently.
Yeah, at this point, I definitely know the portable team a lot better than I know the other people at Rare, just because of all my projects being like related to the portables.
Yeah.
But Paul's very good at like answering questions and stuff.
Nice.
Usually, he seems to love talking about the stuff he's worked on. So
Even it's
I'm
Mr.
definitely,
Pants.
I'm just surprised he's not mad at me for tinkering in his code.
So Gibbon's got a good question here. If you were to hack in GBA enhancements like Shantae has, would that solve the graphics draw issue?
No. So basically, the way GBA enhancement works is like, basically like the GBA actually has like palette correction for some of the Game Boy Color's like weird colors, because if you play this on like an original Game Boy, you'll notice like it never uses pure white. Because like the LCD is just like a little dim. So like a lot of later GBA games had like color enhancements to kind of like course correct some of that. And basically that's done by like doing a check at the start when the game's loaded to like set a flag to go like it's like, oh, you're playing on a GBA, so we'll load it in this different color mode. And only some games supported that because like you had to like special code that, you know. It's definitely interesting because there's not that many other things that the GBA can do with the GBC aside from that color thing, but there was definitely like a clear effort to do that color correction.
So it's not something that the GBA is using its own hardware to enhance something in a Game Boy Color game, because the two are kind of separate, right? In the sense that the Game Boy Advance includes GBC hardware miniaturized in it.
It's including a GBC hardware, but then it has like a separate color mode, basically, is how the GBA enhancement works. Which you can kind of see it as, it's kind of like a proto-emulator setting, basically, because it's like you'll see a lot of emulators include like, oh, this is the real colors mode, and this is the, like, emulated colors mode. Like this looks to be running with like emulation-specific colors. So if you were playing this on a real GBC, it'd be like a little dimmer. The whites wouldn't be as white.
Okay.
Just because of how the RGB pixels work.
So that's why some emulators look different. Interesting.
Yeah, and if you want one that like looks like as close to accurate as possible, I think Same Boy is generally regarded as like the best one, but I don't know if that has like a Mac.
Nah, I messed up.
Basically, though, when I try to like select colors, I try to pick ones that look good on both, because
oh yeah,
like there's some color hacks that like got criticism for Like I think the Kirby's Dream Land one like assigned colors that only really work on an emulator, and so if you play it on like a GBC, it like looks too dark. And so like
Oh.
someone went in and like edited the color hack to be better for like
Wow.
actual hardware and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was Kirby's Dream Land, but I might be wrong.
Maybe it was Kirby's Pinball Land.
I actually know the person who worked on that, and he helped me work on the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon translation. He did the hack that did that like extended the name limit for your Pokemon.
Oh, awesome. For
Yeah,
the
he's a
WiiWare
good
one?
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, basically we have like a Discord group where it's just a bunch of people doing Game Boy colorizations, and that's kind of a cool place. Apparently the person who's working on the Mega Man 5 Game Boy to Game Boy Color conversion is the same person who did the like color correction on the GBA DKC. So
Oh, wow, cool.
that's another person I know that he worked on a thing that I didn't even know. It's like a crazy thing. The ROM hacking community is small and very interconnected, I guess.
Yeah.
Are there any other GBA games pre-SP to be darker? Yeah, there's a color hack for well, DKC, as I just mentioned, by I guess the username is Mark_Max. Not sure if they use their real name online or not, but and then I think there's one for Mario World, and then something else. There's a couple for GBA that fix up some palettes.
Yeah, I know there's one for
looking-
Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, because I played it a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's the thing. I looked into doing 2 and 3, but annoyingly, like the level palettes are like compressed, unlike DKC 1, so it'd be a lot bigger of a project than it would be for the first game. But we can get past that. Maybe I'd collaborate with the guy that did the first game, because he did good work. So
Ah. I messed up.
but yeah,
So-
he's working on a hack of a colorization for Mega Man 5 that is looking really good, like way better than anything I could ever do. So definitely look
Yep.
into that, because it's neat.
Yeah, those games were supposed to get official colorizations along with Anniversary Collection on the GameCube and PS2 and whatever. There was going to be an accompanying Anniversary Collection for the 5 Game Boy games that colorized them for the first time. But it didn't happen. There were a few
Apparently they lost
screenshots.
source code before working.
Sorry, what?
Sorry. They lost the source code before working on them, so those were like done like no source.
Amazing.
So I guess the same as if the same as if you were ROM hacking it. So that's probably why it didn't end up coming out. Was it ended up being a lot bigger of a colorization project than they realized.
Right. Yeah, there were a few screenshots of the game. They might have been mock-ups though, because I know like Metroid 2 was supposed to get a colorization and it had some mock-up screenshots that weren't necessarily the real thing. That's been fan colorized a few times at this point.
Yeah, I feel like they finally got to a good fan colorization where it's like this is the definitive one. I
Whoa.
don't remember what it's called. The ER or something version.
If you complete that bonus room, you just get the DK coin as an extra bonus. You just get it.
Yeah, there's a couple of these that are like that. It's kind of nice. Let me tell you, you take those during testing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
You take those.
Because every time I would test it, I would do 100% playthroughs. Like, I would make sure, like, okay, does this bonus room still work? Okay.
That reminds me, I
Of
should have
course,
been
it turned out to
doing
be a waste of time.
I should have been doing
I
a
never
low
turned
percent
out-
run so that I could get to the Cranky's Hall of Fame and see what Link looks like in the colorized land.
I think they cut out Link from this version. Like,
Oh.
he just always appear in third place.
Oh, well, I guess that is fine.
But you do get Mario and Yoshi still.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
I was doing that during testing. I was like, oh wait, where's Link? He just didn't show up.
Wow.
I was like looking for him in the sprite data, and there was nothing for him.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I've always wondered about that. Because I guess the times that I played this, I didn't get a low enough DK coin score. Or hero coin score.
Are there any games that would be cool if decolorized? We were joking about that in like, we're in a Discord where we do a bunch of colorization hacks, and we were joking about like doing it with Mario DX or whatever, and undexifying it. But
So you can play Super Mario Brothers on a small screen and black and white. Sounds great.
yeah,
That game is almost unplayable because of the shrunken screen space.
it sucks because like there's a lot of interesting stuff added into it too.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of cool
you
new
get,
features.
Like, collect Wiki eggs and
And the world map, and the weird fortune-telling mode thing.
yeah, I used to play that a lot, even though it's probably not the best version of the game to play.
Yeah, those fun extras are what makes it like justify its existence. It's one of the ones that they gave away free, maybe in the early days of the 3DS Virtual Console, which is the only reason I've played
Really?
it. Yeah, that might have been a PAL only thing.
Yeah, I certainly didn't get it.
Oh, too bad. Got to pay your $6 or whatever it was.
It costs more to buy that than it costs to buy the original Super Mario Bros. on the NES.
Yeah. I just got the kitty glitch, by the way.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. TM.
See, that's the kind of thing, like, you know, when I'm developing it, it's like really stressful. Like, oh god, there's a glitch. But then, like, you know, half the people don't even encounter it, and usually when they do, they're like, oh, that was weird. Okay.
Yeah, the original game has
It's
its
like,
own
yeah.
glitches too, so. And
I'm
there's
just
enough
glad that I could
sprite
like add
problems
new
already.
features and make it a little more fun. You know.
So we're not going to get pursued by King Zing in the land version of this game, but we do get the Rambi transformation.
It doesn't switch the song though.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best songs in the soundtrack, and it only plays for like,
Oh, don't worry,
you know,
it's
30
still here.
seconds.
They
or
just use
whatever.
it for street and sprint instead.
Oh, okay. Oops. I'm gonna do that. Whoop. Yeah, I saw that. These low star value collect the stars bonuses are interesting. There's only a few to get.
Yeah. When I first released this, Joe from DK Vine specifically singled that bonus room out as being like, wow, that's an awful bonus room. That's like so.
It's fine.
It's like you cannot fail that.
Some of them have very generous timers, I've noticed. And others very tight.
I think overall, like, the bonus rooms are pretty easy in this, but I don't mind that because I feel like they did a good job keeping the difficulty overall. This level sucks. I hate this one.
Yeah, I've also noticed that when you're in an animal body transformation, you don't get that extra kitty hit.
Yeah, it uses a completely different damage routine for whatever
Oh, really?
reason.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact. Oh, this arena doesn't have the angled bits at the ceiling. Interesting. Well,
No.
I think it's interesting.
You can definitely tell where they I feel like a lot of the cuts they made make sense. But like, you look at this and compare it to the country GBC where they have the extra VRAM bank to play with, and like they just have so many more unique graphics.
This is a new mechanic in this boss fight, by the way, is King Zing spawning zingers behind him while moving around the arena. That's clever. I've forgotten these kinds of changes they made to the boss fights.
I think they kept that for the GBA version too.
Oh, wow. There are some people who worked on both this and the GBA version. I was looking that up. Kerry Gunn, who we already mentioned, returned for sprite art in the GBA one. Whoops. So she would have done the Tiny Kong sprite that exists in the Advance port remake, whatever. Come on. Oh, he's so quick.
Yeah, this level's hard.
Oh, okay, well.
You just don't have the screen space to make this boss fight work.
Yeah, I agree.
They tried, but...
Come on, why didn't that work? Okay, cool. Did a bit of a snipe shot there. Woof! Alright, so after Gloomy Gulch is when I'll get access to the Lost World, you said.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I like this. I like
if
this
I'm
world
wrong,
map.
then yeah, you can yell at me, but...
It's very stark. I love what you've done with the really dark background and the bright foreground there.
Thank you.
The
I think
moody trees.
gradients work really well for these overworlds just because like you can kind of get the vibe without needing to like fight with the graphics
Yeah.
too much.
It's cool. Alright, Ghostly Grove.
This is a lot of shared graphics between like multiple tiles, and I'm not like super happy with how these look, but I think they're passable.
Purple and green is always a good combination. We know this from Gruntilda and Ukulele.
That is one of the things where like you want to add contrast because like otherwise like you can't really, like the whole point is to make it visually distinct, so if you add like contrast you can kind of separate foreground and background.
Yep.
So like a lot of my color choices were based on that kind of thing. But these levels were difficult to make look nice because a lot of like that tree in the background is sharing a lot of tiles with like the ground, which is kind of an interesting one. You'll see it like around on like certain ramps, like right there at the corner of there's like a tile that's like the same for the tree. It's kind of hard to see it, but
So I'm really struggling with this ghost rope for some reason. Okay, that time it worked. So
there you go.
there's a corner tile in common between the ground and the tree. Oh,
Yeah,
this
look
pink
at
spot
the-
on the tree.
Yeah, you see, it's like it's very subtle. I tried to make it work, but you can see it in the corner, like the cliff over there also. There's like a couple spots like that where it's like a shared tile, and it's like, oh, why'd you do this to me?
I can't pick out the cliff tile that it looks like just like that one.
It's hard to tell, but I can guarantee you when I change the color, it'll change it for both.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff like that going on. It's difficult.
I should really be using Dixie on this stage. No, not you.
Oh, I did make it so that whenever you get hit, as long as you have Kitty, it always switches you to Dixie, because of some specific like weird things where the way it's programmed, you can't actually have Kitty loaded and Diddy at the same time.
Okay.
Because it kind of like skins over him.
That's why when you're
It's
playing
basically
this
just like
Kitty, Dixie's behind, and
it's basically just like loading a different animation set whenever a certain flag is set to be on. So
nope.
I was surprised how many people were excited about the Kiddy Kong thing. I mainly did it for me, but
It's a very fun addition, and calling it New Kitty Mode, in the sense of New Funky Mode, is a fun way of presenting it.
yeah, there was a tweet. I think it was from Kiddy Kong Facts saying like, "Oh, now there's more like hacks to add Kiddy Kong into games than there are Kiddy Kong games." So kind of funny.
Yeah. I've also been keeping a keen eye on the fan game Kiddy Kong's Showtime, which is a very interesting project. But
it is interesting. He's got like a half ironic fan base, I guess.
Yeah.
Like people, like I think people like him, but also like they realize he's probably not the best Kong.
Yeah. So this is the first level that's been swapped out for a new name, is that right?
I think so. I think it's this one, and there's one in K. Rool's Keep also.
So Crazy Coaster is replacing Haunted Hall, because they didn't want to program in or include the graphics of the unique Haunted Library background that's originally on this stage. So instead, we're back in the theme park for some reason. Sorry, what was that?
I tried to make it suitably spooky looking, but...
Oh yeah, you have changed the palette, and it works, yeah, it's good.
I will say one thing, like, Land 3, like, the official colorization of it only has, like, one palette per archetype. So, I almost ended up doing that, but that would have been a little lazy.
Yeah. There's other problems with the official colorization that Blaziken made a patch to address, like the map screens in Land 3 in the Japanese color version don't animate at all, whereas in the monochrome version they have things going on in the background.
It's the same for the bear.
You mentioned
he like loses animation.
Oh yeah, there's no animation for Bear. He's just standing stock still. So you mentioned that you were writing some fixes for Donkey Kong Land 3. How's that gonna? Are you going to release that? How's that going to work with Blaziken's patch?
Oh, it'll. I don't think anything that I did should impact anything in the patch. It should just be compatible.
So what kind of changes were you planning to make?
I wanted to put some of the features that I put into this as like a separate patch for Land 3. So like the Follow Kong and stuff. Just to like kind of make it better to play.
Cool.
Because like I know it's like a small thing, but having like the Kongs following you around like really does like make the world feel more alive, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree 100% with that.
I think one of the things that makes the DKC game stand out is how they put like a big emphasis on, oh, these are your buddies and they're also on the adventure with you, you know? And I think that's like a thing that the land games kind of lose out on a little bit. Because you're always like transforming into the animal buddies, so you're not riding them, and then you don't have the Kongs following you, so it's like, you do kind of lose like a little bit something.
Yeah. I always love that when it feels like you're part of a team or you have friends or partners with you on the adventure. That's always a cool feature in games, I think. Oh.
It also just like makes the world feel like more like a world, I guess, and not like a game. Just like having more life that's also having like a goal, you know.
Yeah. And that's something Rare was always good at with their games.
I think it's one of the main things that makes me appreciate their games is like, you know, they feel like they have a lot of life to them. Like they could have just added like a UI thing when you had an extra Kong for the country games, and they said no, I want this game to be UI free, and I want you know, want the Kong to follow you, and that's really cool to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess Parrot Shoot Panic is coming up, which I actually added special code to make sure that it displayed as quawks instead of squawks. So
that's fantastic. I just wanted to note that Wrinkly says that they have English class tomorrow. I wonder if they changed that in the localizations of the game. But yes.
That's a good question, actually.
Parrot Shoot Panic. Oh, found a secret first off, but here's Quarks. Yeah, the parrot who did not get a name for a while. The purple parrot who cannot flap
Yeah, so
upwards.
basically since my like colors are drawn by animation ID, the table for like figuring that out, I actually instead of having that be a static table, that's one that I can modify on the fly. And so I have it initialize it every time you go to the overworld, which is why like I can edit it in this level, and then have it not, you know, be the same in every other level.
Cool.
And so I use that for a couple of things. I used it for that, and I think I used it for Creepy Crow, I think. And then I think that's all of them.
Interesting. So yeah, Creepy Crow obviously would have used the same graphics in the original game. Just show off that palette thing again. Transforming into quarks is interesting. I think you probably do that in 3.
In the non-color version of the game, like, you wouldn't have any indication that you're just floating downward.
Yeah, that you can't fly, probably. So this is a big gameplay improvement. Just through the addition of color. I always subscribe to the theory that the parrot that helps you out in Parrot Shoot Panic, or parrots, as the case may be, are different to the quarks that you meet in DKC3, because if you compare the sprites, they are actually a bit different. Whether that's because of the yellow lighting of the hive, maybe. But yeah, they're sort of this lavender color in 2, and is it lavender? I don't know. It's a more bluey.
I think they're more like tealish in 3.
Yeah, it's a darker redder purple in 3. And, of course, in 3, the parrot has completely different abilities. It can flap upwards, it can carry barrels.
Which squawks can't do.
Yeah, and which quarks can't do or, you know, quote-unquote quarks can't do in this game. So it was always the DK Vine theory for a while that the parrots in Parrot Shoot Panic were Squeaks and Flapper, until it was unearthed that the name was Quarks. And then that was combined with the parrot from 3. But I still associate them separately.
I think I would do that if I had another name. But...
What do you mean another name?
Like another name for the other quawks. Because it's like... Well, now these are just nameless parrots if these aren't quawks, you know?
Well, that's why they went with Squeaks and Flapper at DK Vine, because that was from the Swanky quiz. They were names in-game.
Was Quawks also in-game anywhere?
Because
I know that, like, it only became, like, canonized when, like, Nintendo took over or whatever.
Yeah, the name appears in later like in the Barrel Blast manual, for example. But I don't know where the name Quarks originally came from. I feel like it was in a Japanese manual at some point, whether it was for DKC3 GBA or some other game. I don't remember. But it's an interesting sort of tidbit of Donkey Kong lore that I guess not many people know about. It
makes me wonder if like maybe it would have had a different name in English, because there's a couple characters like that. Like Kiddy Kong obviously has a different name in Japanese. So.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like maybe they did have like a different internal name for it, and they just went with the Japanese one because there was no.
I think some of the bears have different names in the Japanese DKC3, possibly.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I didn't do the research.
It's definitely something interesting though to look into, because I don't know if like the alliteration would really work the same way.
Oh. Let's just reverse that.
These squitter levels are a nightmare.
Yep. But I've just got the DK coin, which means that they do not have the end of level trap for Webwoods, where it only appears very briefly on the end of level target. Of course, that whole mechanic is removed from this game.
I think there is still a level like that though.
But they don't give you prizes at the end.
Well, I think there's one where it's like, there's the target, and then after that is the
coin. It's just past it. Yeah, we've seen that a few times now.
Yeah, I don't like when they do things like that. It's like, don't make me replay the level.
Yeah, it's just rude.
Why'd you do this to me?
Which is how, Returns of Tropical Freeze do it all the time. Okay. So Gibbon has some facts for us in chat, which I can't read because I'm focusing on this bonus room.
He's been called Quox the entire time in Japan, starting from the DKC2 Super Famicom manual and going forward for DKC3, but the name was first used in English in Barrel Blast.
Okay, that's really good to know. The English stuff just called him Purple Squawks, she says. So it did come from the Japanese side and then was adopted. That's really interesting. Alright, so Creepy Crow will show off a few of the changes that Ape made. As we said, the palette is different for Crow here, and the rain effect is present, as it was.
And this boss is hard. I got real good at this one too.
Of course. From what you've said, I imagine it would have been difficult to have a different palette for one of the mini neckies that would spawn the barrel, but in this case, the egg spawns on its own. You don't need to.
Well, yeah, even if you don't hit them at all, it just spawns it.
Yeah.
I didn't concern myself too much.
Yeah.
I always get hit by that one. And that one.
Ah! Tried to jump up, didn't make it. Does this have 3 phases? This is gonna be rough.
This is the last time you have to climb.
Oh, good.
So
what?
You only have to climb the one.
The egg hit me.
But yes, it does. It does drop that every time on the left.
That's so rude.
You have to jump. You have to jump over it, and then you have to jump over it, and then over the crow.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough. I got real good at it. Let me tell you.
I almost made that.
I had to do this so many times that by the time I do this pretty perfectly now.
Wow, I'm glad I
have to hit him a couple times, but they're nasty.
And here is Clubber's Kiosk. Let's finish the game and then go back. I'll check it out now, actually. I'll go do the Chrome Coin cheat after. Scurvy chimps ahoy, just try and cross without pain. So on this screen is where Ape has added the feature. You press select, and there you go. We can cycle through all the tracks in the game.
Yeah, this was more of an experiment than. I didn't want to like add any indication, like, in case people were playing it, like, if I got any purists wanting me to not make changes to the game, so I just put it here. And the reason that I used this map specifically was that, yeah, see, it's Sticker Bush.
Indeed. Is it in the README? Yes, it is.
Yeah. So the reason I put it on this map specifically is that certain songs only load on certain maps. The boss theme, Clubba's theme, and a couple others only load on like specific maps with a specific setup, and then like it's because they're loaded into memory instead of loaded in like directly from the ROM. And I don't know why they did it that way, but they did. So.
Huh. Now, didn't you say that the Lost World theme doesn't play in the game?
They have the overworld theme, but not the level theme for the jungle
theme.
Levels.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, but you can see that there's 47 Creme coins in the game as opposed to 75, but there's the same number of levels, so they just reduce the number of bonus coins, the number of bonuses, and the fact that bosses don't give you coins now. And yeah, here's the entire soundtrack for Donkey Kong Land 3 in here as well.
Yeah, so the way I did that was porting wholesale the entire sound bank.
Was that hard to do? Did it take up a lot of space?
No. Here's the thing. So I didn't have to worry about this, how big the ROM was. So I could just make the ROM
That's true.
Like 3 times the size, and it didn't matter.
Why not? And in the spirit of that, here is the Conker's Pocket Tales soundtrack.
Some of these can cause audio glitches, I think, but it should correct itself.
So you said this is because they use the same sound engine in Pocket Tales as they do.
Use the exact same sound engine.
You hear this a lot. What about Donkey Kong Land 1 though?
I think it uses the same sound engine, but it loads the songs differently. I looked into it and didn't have much luck messing with it. Okay. But you know, I wanted to be able to jam out on my headphones to Vultureville.
Why not? Vultureville's a great song, by the way.
But yeah, some of like the pitch bend effects don't work properly, like they don't clear themselves properly, so they might cause like some weird stuff if you go back to the Land 2 and 3 songs after listening to Pocket Tales 1.
Crow's Keep. I never thought about it, but is there a connection?
I mean, there's quite a few like references in Pocket Tales to Donkey Kong stuff, like the Vulture culture and like Slippas and armies appear too. So
yes, indeed. And here's that track we were talking about before, the old chap.
Yeah, it all comes together. We planned this entire scene. Oh yeah, and the enter your name song only appears in the non-color version of Pocket Tales. So there's some more trivia for you.
One more reason why the monochrome Pocket Tales is the superior way to play the game.
It really is, though. It's like there's like a lot of small things that really add up. Yeah, and you just press B to get out of here.
I'm listening for those glitches you mentioned, but I'm not sure I can pick them up. Like instrument.
It's just like very slight distortion. You might notice it on a couple.
I think I picked up a bit on this track. Maybe? I don't know.
But I think it should correct itself when you go back to the game.
Cool.
But if not.
Alright, let's crack on. What are some other reasons why the monochrome Pocket Towers is better than the color version? I know that for the color version, the boss AI
is
yeah,
yeah.
it's
The boss AI is way better.
yeah, it's almost like broken in the color version. They just kind of move back and forth, but
they
they're a
just
lot more
kinda go
active.
bob back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. They do a lot more stuff in the black and white version.
Yeah, there's a couple minor things. I think some of the mini games like control better.
Oops.
Like the mini game where you pan for gold in the color version, like doesn't stop your gold pan. Like you're still moving it rather than like in the Pocket version where it's like it like holds you in place and you shake it. So it like makes it a lot more clear what you're supposed to do for the mini game.
Oh, okay.
There's like a couple minor things like that where like it adds up over time. Where you like notice like, oh, maybe the color version was a bit of a rush job.
I remember there was a difference between the two in terms of the slingshot controls. You have more freedom of aiming angles.
Yeah, you can like shoot diagonally.
Yeah, which version had the diagonals?
The non-color version.
Oh, there you go again. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was one or the other, but yep, one more tick in that column.
The only thing that you do like there's also like extra animations. Like if you run too fast into a wall,
yeah,
you get like that bonk animation, and that just doesn't exist in the color version.
Yeah. More animation.
So there's definitely some major differences.
Yeah, in addition to level design changes, which, you know, I'm not qualified to say whether they're better or worse, but they have two very different experiences.
It's mostly a lateral move.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They're definitely different.
There's also a slight change in order, like you get one of the key items in a different place in color. Like they swap the position of like the axe and the whatever, I forget what exactly, but...
The torch.
Yeah, maybe.
Pretty sure it was the axe and the torch.
I'm sure you would know. I trust you on that.
Well, because I know that in the color version, if you do Claw Swamp first, because you get an option to do Mako Islands or Claw Swamp first. And if you do Claw Swamp first, you have to go back later because you don't have the saw, not the axe. You don't have the saw to do to get like the bonus invitations.
So it's kind of a Banjo-Kazooie Turbo Trainer situation.
Yeah, so you want to do them in that specific. You want to do the Mako Islands first, I think.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure that's the way it goes.
Now, is this a graphical glitch here? Dixie has turned into a smoke puff.
Okay, so this is an interesting thing. So the way that this like Windy Well graphic works is, oh yeah, also it loops his jumping animation.
That works.
The way that this Windy Well animation works is different from every other animation in the game. The honey animation is like that also, which is why that glitch happens. And basically, it's the same animation for both. It just knows which one to load, and I don't know why they did it this way, because no other animation is like that. It's bizarre, honestly. So, yeah. So they turned into a smoke puff just because. Otherwise, it would just be two Dixies floating because it's the same animation.
Fair enough. I also noticed.
Don't know why that.
I noticed a little thing there before where I was playing as Kitty during that animation, and then I got hit, and it switched me to Dixie, but Kitty's sprite still appeared for a few frames.
Yeah, that's the exact same glitch as the honey glitch.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Oops.
Because
basically
what's going on. Basically, what's going on is to get Kitty to work, it checks if you're playing as Kitty and then like replaces that animation. But since it's the same animation for both Dixie and Diddy, the way that I reskinned it over doesn't really work.
Okay. Love this behind the scenes look into the development of the patch.
Yeah, I hope it's interesting for someone, because
Well, for me at least it is. Everyone in chat tell Ape how cool he is.
I feel like it is one of those things where, like, you know, when you're working on a project, you really only see the errors and the weirdness. But like overall, most of the reception I've gotten to the patch has been really positive. So
That's
I am
good to
really
hear.
thankful for that.
Ah, here we go. So Castle Crush has been replaced by Dungeon Danger because they couldn't
Yeah, and this is
do
another one of those
the
that
floor
feels like a
moving
lot
effect,
easier.
I guess.
It feels a lot easier than the level it replaced.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed when we did Haunted Hall's replacement, I forget the name. It was quite short. It was over before
Yeah,
I
it
could
was
even.
just like a quick
Yeah.
little.
So again, every level design is new, but some of them they also changed the name because the original gimmick wouldn't work, and lacking the original gimmick, they might feel also a bit briefer in scope or whatever.
Yeah, I think this one's mostly fine because it's like the first castle level, so it's
Yeah.
just like kind of introducing you to them.
Yeah.
But I think for the roller coaster one, I'm like, that's just a boring level that you replaced it with.
Yeah, this feels Chain Link Chamber-esque, just with fewer chains, but that works. Where's this got to go? Aha. Gibbon is affirming in chat that Ape is cool, as it should be. Very good.
Thank you.
And that means more coming from her than it did from me, for sure.
I'll take compliments wherever I can get them.
So, is your hacking of DKL3 the next thing you're working on, or what else are you going to work on next?
I already ported the follow Kong, so I gotta test it, but I'll probably just release that on its own and as its own thing.
Okay, so you're not going to do more expanded changes to Land 3?
I'd like to get Diddy in there. I already have the code to do it, so
That'd be nice.
that'd be kind of nice.
Having that extra
I
kid in
think
that game
people
as
like
well.
Diddy more, so
Oh.
you know, add Kitty to one game and remove him from another.
No, my baby. This is a kitty support zone here.
Yeah, I like Kitty Kong. This is just reusing code from Lava Lagoon. So even though Lava Lagoon was a nightmare, this level was pretty easy.
Oh, good. Once you'd sorted that out, it was easy to port it over.
Yeah. But no, the next thing I'm working on is the Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge hack, which is another colorization.
Oh, cool. You're involved in that one.
Yeah, that one's going pretty well. It's going pretty fast. So
that's the first Game Boy Mega Man game, yeah?
Yes.
That's Rockman World 1.
Yeah, I've basically got that one like working mostly. I've got like a bunch of the static screens left to do, but otherwise it's pretty close to done.
Great.
It was a lot easier of a project than these were. I took a break from it because I got like married or something. So.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations. You can check that out on the DK Vine Twitch channel and YouTube channel, I'm sure.
definitely look into that. Hyle's speech was great.
It was very lovely, heartfelt. Yeah, Ape got married to his fiancée Adam, or his husband. Sorry, well, it's sort of past tense and then present tense. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm bad at that too. I still keep wanting to say fiance, even though.
Well, they were fiancés when they started, but by the end, their roommate Dustin had married the two together. And they are now husbands, and congratulations.
He got ordained.
Yeah.
That is still my favorite part.
Yes. I'm not sure of the legality or officiality of that, but you did the paperwork at the courthouse. I think that's the important part.
Yeah, I mean, certain states you can just, as long as you sign up to be a minister, which apparently Dustin took 15 seconds to do.
Yeah.
Um,
It just asked him for his email address, and that was it.
because I think the thing is they either want you to be able to do it like with a judge, or like with like your religious leader. So I guess Dustin's that.
He's your spiritual mentor and advisor.
Yeah, it is kind of funny the more you think about it. So these levels, there's a bit of a, even though they're not like super colorful, there's a bit of a trick going on with the floor. If you pause, you can kind of expose it. I used a different palette that's slightly brighter to highlight where the floor is, so you can see it better.
Oh, that's really clever. Because this is what it would have essentially looked like in the monochrome version. The floor kind of blends into that wall texture. There wasn't much I could
do to really make it like stand out that much, but I think that really helps it, even though it's like a simple.
That's great. Oop. Yeah. Ah.
It's alright. Kitty will help you.
Oh, he's been a real bro this playthrough.
I saw someone streaming it, like they were saying it's like him taking a bullet for you. I thought it was really funny.
He's taking one for the team.
Yeah, there was like a thing where it was tough, like do I want to try and recreate what the SNES game is doing, or do I want to try and like do a thing that makes it look good, you know? And there's like a balance of that sometimes. Like with the levels that I had to add the rain, obviously I tried to do what the SNES game was doing, but then with some like these where it's like, okay, I have a bunch of yellow enemies on screen, so what would make them stand out? Okay, I gotta do a reddish thing so that you can see them.
I see.
That's another reason I'm not super fond of the beehive levels, because it's like, okay, you gotta make a beehive yellow, but then you can't see the bananas. So it's like, oh yeah, also this level sucked programming. I hate it.
Yep, here it is, Toxic Tower. Oh, we're not starting with Rattly on this one.
So one thing you'll notice is that the background palettes for these levels are really simple. And that's because the way that it's working is it's changing the palette like halfway through the screen. So I have it only changing a couple colors to make this like visual trick work, but that means that I have to keep the palette pretty simple.
Because you've got two palettes, one for with slime and one without. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a single palette that gets updated mid-scan line, basically. Oh,
wow. Interesting.
So, yeah, so that's how that works, and that's why these were such a nightmare to program. And I'm still not like 100% happy with them, but they work, so that's all I can really ask. Oh, you have to use the super jump.
That's the first time it's been required.
Yes.
I forgot to check that. Yeah. I guess Rambi and On Guard still have their charge as well, right?
They do. You don't need it, and they took away On Guard's charge for 3, I think.
Oh wow.
For some reason. I don't know why they did that. But he still has it here. So, and it's weird because it's on the same engine, so you'd think they just reused the code.
Yeah.
Like they made a specific effort to take it away.
Well, I guess if it didn't have a gameplay function, because I haven't needed to break open a wall with Rambi or On Guard, so why have that mechanic still if it's just used as an attack?
I will say I think Land 3 does a little better at like being since it doesn't have to like constrain itself to being DKC3 again. Like it can kind of make those changes and make the game make more cohesive sense.
Yeah. That's why it's my favorite.
But at the same time, there's like at the same time, there's like still something to be admired in how close they got with this game to the SNES counterpart. Even though I think it makes it less interesting and like a worse game slightly.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely admirable that they like put in the effort and recreated that experience.
Because you can see even in this level, very similar beats to the SNES game, but the level design itself is new, which, as a huge fan of DKC2, I appreciate just having a brand new experience in, you know, the same type of gameplay as that game.
I mean, that's the kind of way I see Land 3 is like it's like a level pack, you know?
Yeah, level pack. I've described it like that before, yeah.
It's kind of like that for this too, even though it's like very similar levels. It's like a Zelda second quest.
Interesting, yeah. Alright, let's see how they've changed up Stronghold Showdown.
The answer is not much.
Well, I can move. That's new. This was just a cutscene on SNES. Okay, that's the end. You don't even get a banana coin, which you do get a creme coin in the country game.
I do actually have more to say about Stronghold Showdown,
yeah?
though, because the way that some of the colors are loaded, is based on the music, right? Well, I guess I never said that. Well,
no.
So some of the screens are based on what music is playing, because otherwise I would have to find out the code for like all these things. So like Funky's Flights, Clubber's Kiosk, it's all like, okay, I'm about to play this song, so I need these colors. And so I had to do a special check to check if it's Stronghold Showdown or not, because this song is used for the ending for the Video Game Heroes screen.
Oh. So does that mean does that mean the hero screen has the same palette as this area?
No, I put special like coding to like check, okay, if you are in Stronghold Showdown, do not execute this code.
Oh.
So that's how that works.
Note the gradient use on the screen as well. Good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, so Funky's Flights does the same sort of thing, and that actually ended up causing like a slight glitch in. So when there's like some code that like that executed based on the overworld music loading, and I had to like change that to use a different trigger because you can reload the overworld by going to Funky's Flights, and that won't play the song. So
yeah.
I changed it to work a different way for 1.1. I don't remember what glitch that was though specifically, but I fixed it so it doesn't glitch anymore. Programming's especially programming using like these weird workarounds, you sometimes run into weird things.
Oh, I like this palette.
Oh. So one of the interesting things you can see with these levels, you can definitely see like the shared tiles on the wood boards compared to the brambles. You can see how some of the brambles are blue and some of the wood boards are, because like some of them are just shared tiles that I don't know if you'd be able to pick them out like by eyesight, but they're definitely there and they are annoying and I hate them.
I think it kind of works because the boards are so ramshackly and rickety anyway.
Yeah.
Seeing the brambles through them kind of makes sense.
Much over it.
Yeah.
I tried to make it a palette that would work for both, but you can see some of the brambles where there's spots where it's just randomly blue.
Oh. That was a bonus that was there. No. You get a huge jump off Click-Clacks in this.
Yeah. Well, I think they took away, cause like in the DK like the SNES games, you get you don't get like the usual bounce off. You get like a very tiny jump off of them.
That's right.
It makes like a squish sound.
Mm.
That's another thing the land games are really missing is the Kremling death noises.
That's true.
These things going, ugh.
Yeah, I definitely miss those. Also, I realized that there's no cat o' nine tails in this game. So you'd expect to
it
see
really
them in this
changes.
level.
It basically makes the others. What's the second swamp level that has them? It makes that like a very similar level to the first one.
Yeah. Oh wow, do they still have the race? They do, amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
They
I've
made it a lot
forgotten
easier,
everything about Land 2. So it's a whole
The
new
race
experience
is so
for
much
me.
easier. You don't have to rush too bad to beat them, but
Yeah, that's good.
they definitely
Screech,
still have it.
Screech is not moving very fast. But here's that music. Let's enjoy that.
Yeah, it's the Ramby one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have the audio turned off, but they had that same like issue in the GBA version where like the Ramby song plays here instead, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or like maybe it's the other way around. I think it plays the Screech's Sprint song in the Ramby level.
Huh.
I think there's actually a patch on rombacking.net to fix that.
Nice.
Because like the song's still in the game, it just doesn't play anywhere. Definitely a strange thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
the
another
GBA
side.
games were programmed from scratch, basically, because
Yes.
because they had to deal with the smaller resolutions. So I guess it was probably just easier to make a new code than to try and make old code work.
Was that also a case where they'd lost the source code? Possibly.
I think so, but I think in like interviews they said they like grabbed the backgrounds with like emulators and stuff.
Yeah, I've
And
heard that.
Having poked into the code, I believe them because you can tell that their palettes used an automated like machine thing to assign them because they are just in random orders, and it
Huh.
sure sucks for trying to colorize them. I attempted to look into that, and yeah, I think they're impressive ports, or remakes, really.
Hmm. That's fascinating.
Like they got the feeling really close.
Yeah, they did. It's an interesting case of remaking a SNES game on GBA, because when they did that with the Mario games, we talked about Super Mario Bros. Deluxe and how that's really hard to play on the small Game Boy screen because the sprites are the same size but the screen is smaller. It's the same issue on the GBA Mario remakes. In all cases, the screen is smaller and the sprites are the same size, which makes them harder to play. That's not the case on the country games. The sprites are actually smaller and the screen is wider,
like,
so you
small
actually
down.
have more space than you do on the SNES games. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I think you get slightly less vertical space, but a
Yeah.
lot more like horizontal.
Yeah. And the physics do work differently. There's a part in DKC 3 GBA where instead of having to water skip to get to a bonus, you can just jump out of the water and land
Jump
on
right
the
up.
platform.
Yeah.
So your jump height is higher in that game. All right. K-Rool Jewel, it's time. Wait, why are we
This
in
is
the
another
castle?
one I got real good at.
I guess they did not program in an extra background for the flying croc.
Yeah, the flying croc's in a castle. It's the same with Crocodile Core. They just use like a lava background, I think.
Oh, don't spoil it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, when we're done here, we're going to go do that cheat for the Krem coins, get to the Lost World, and we'll do that. What's the time? Yeah, okay, so it'll be a bit longer than usual stream, but that's okay. As long as you're happy to
I think
hang
in
around.
3 you fight him like in a pipe.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very weird.
But that's okay. That's a new game in a new setting. He doesn't need to have all the same stuff. Fake out.
I'm crossing fingers nothing breaks here because this was a difficult. The ending sequence was such a pain. So actually, in the 1.0 release, Visual Boy Advance did not display sprites during the ending. So I had to fix that. And so I basically had to reprogram the entire ending routine for 1.1 and 1.2. So you'll be seeing that. Well, you won't be, but and that was not my. That was Visual Boy Advance being a bad emulator rather than
Oh, that was
a
kind of
problem
short.
with me.
That
Okay, good. Everything worked.
that fight was a bit short. It's also a little easier in this version because you jump higher than in Country 2. So you can clear some of
Yeah.
those bouncing spike balls easier.
Now, I will say I did not get really good at the second K-roll fight. I still suck at that one.
So yeah, this screen had a unique jingle. There's Mario and Yoshi. They look pretty cool. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, so that's using the music routine to load the colors here. So
Oh, and we've got the cast roll, of course.
and same for this, I use the music routine to load this ending bit because it also loads the same cast roll after the second way the ending is loaded. So you basically call that a hook. That's like a spot where you can inject new code into like an old code. So like when you're ROM hacking, like you're always looking for a way to make like a really short hook that you can safely like jump to from anywhere. And like the more like common use you want, like the more common use that the hook you make is, like something with a music routine, if you know exactly what like circumstance that certain things are going to be loaded, you can reuse that for like a whole bunch of different scenarios and save you a lot of time. So even though it sounds like really unorthodox, it's like it's really nice when you can find things like that. So
I love Credits Concerto. It's one of my favorite tracks in the game.
I like this version of it too. It's very nice. I also love how they don't give Klinger a rope. It's just floating midair. And a lot of this the same as the SNES game too. Like Wrinkly just slides across.
Yeah, sometimes the GBA version handled that a bit differently, but I don't remember what the difference was.
I think they gave Cranky like a walker or something. So, like he actually has a walking animation. Yeah, just sliding.
I think he also pops up a few times during the before his credit actually shows up saying, "Is it my turn yet?" From memory.
I think that's in the first one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind then. Something I noticed.
I think in the third game they like use the animation for him with the walker when when you beat bosses, because he like comes up to like quip about him.
Yeah.
Puff Step doesn't get to puff up.
I was checking the manual and they misspell flotsam as floatsam. But yeah, here's all these people I mentioned, as well as some others. Dean Smith on graphics. Additional design, Hugh Ward and Gary Richards, who are also involved in testing.
This was Grant Kirkland's first project at Rare.
George Andreas, one half of the DK Rappers. Jay Stamper Jr., that's Joe Stamper Jr., one of the Stamper legacy. And that's credits for the original game. I don't know if that's all the names that were involved. Looks like it was, actually. There's more names there than there were listed on Moby Games for the original team. I don't know what's up with that.
It is kind of nice they credit the original DKC2 team.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh gosh. Yeah, they do that in DKC GBC as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, I think you put the code in on the title screen?
Yes, I realized. Yes. Okay. How do I do that?
I don't remember what the code is.
That's all right. It's right here on Mario Wiki.
I think you do it on the file select, maybe?
Okay. According to Mario Wiki, while on the title screen, it says, I'll try that first, the player must hold either left or right button on the D-pad and enter a specific combination of buttons. So to get 47 Chrome coins, which is what we want, A, B, A, B. So...
That's pretty easy.
Wait, it didn't work. Yeah, it is this screen. You were right.
Yeah, I think it's
Mario Wiki's wrong.
Yeah. Take that, Mario Wiki.
We can't get...
I guess we'll have to correct that.
Yeah. We can't get a full complement of hero coins, but we can get banana coins and extra lives with other cheat codes. But now that we have 47 Creme coins, we can head over to Lost World. There it is. Let's see your silver. Nice.
Yeah, it's nice they added that because I've seen a couple people who stream the game do that exact same thing, so...
Yeah, of course, the original game had a kind of more in-gameplay kind of cheat code where you could skip the first two bananas in Pyro Panic, run and get the banana bunch, then go back to the room, and you do some kind of combination of that, and you get 75 Chrome coins straight off. I've certainly done that before.
It's definitely an interesting choice.
Alright. Oh, wow. It's Stickerbush Symphony.
This was another one of those... Yeah, this was another one of those where the ground was the same as the sky, which you can definitely see where that becomes a problem. But hopefully it's still pretty visible. I think even just having the sprites like standing out helps so much.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
I definitely tried to like visually separate everything as much as possible, but sometimes you just can't.
On that note, I was thinking about Gibbon's question before, what Game Boy game would you like to see colorized? And I'm going to say Castlevania Legends. The first two Castlevania games on Game Boy have official colorizations through Konami multi-pack Game Boy Color re-releases. But Legends never got that chance.
There's a couple really good Game Boy games that I definitely think, like, it's like a shame that only a couple games actually got the colorization treatment. There's like a handful.
Yeah. Wario Land 2, for example.
But there's definitely a community for that, and they do really good work. So.
And it's not easy, from everything you've been telling me today.
It's both like, so part of it too is like a lot of things can be very monotonous too. Like even in the spots where it's like kind of like, okay, I've got my level routine working, but I still have to go one by one to every level, and you know. So that can kind of get to you a little bit, and like, you know, oh, will this ever end? There's like 6 worlds in this game, 7 worlds in this game, I think. Even Land 1 only had like 4, so...
Yeah, that's right.
But then the thing with Land 1 was that it had so many bonus rooms that I also had to color, and some of them I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna reuse palettes. I don't have the patience for this. So there are a couple that like reuse palettes for bonus rooms in Land 1, but thankfully since this game, all of the bonus rooms use the same archetype as the main ones. I didn't have to do anything like that.
I'm just gonna say Black Ice Battle, more like Lilac Ice Battle.
Yeah, it didn't look great with the
No, I like this. It looks cool.
This was one that I changed for 1.2 also.
Oh, okay.
Because originally it was just like a static palette across the screen, and now there's like two that kind of shuffle. It's very difficult to split some of these maps up, so... I don't even know if it's like super noticeable. You might be able to notice if you pause it, but... Definitely two different palettes distinct. Sort of like the castle levels.
Hmm. But again, it does help the floor stick out more. Yeah. Exactly. I noticed something there, which is that when we... or whenever you load a game, it resets your banana coin counter to 0. And I believe this was...
Is like a separate... There's a separate hack you can do for that.
Yes, I think Blaziken did that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like they worked a lot with the land games. So.
Yeah. So
I didn't want to pack that one like. I was real concerned about like people getting mad about like purism, like, oh, like you made changes to the game that weren't necessary. So I didn't want to change anything that impacted gameplay, but that hack should still be compatible.
Also, it's really cool. Well, it's a side effect of not having entrances to the Lost World in every world, but having just one. But having all of the Lost World levels on one screen is something I wish DKC2 would do. Like, as you unlock them...
Instead of needing to go to Clubber's kiosk and then back and then back to kiosk.
Like on SNES, if you had... You know, you still have to visit Clubber in each world, but once you unlock a level, any instance of the world that you travel to, of the Lost World that you travel to, would have all the unlocked levels available. Would be
That's one
better.
of the things that I genuinely think 3 did way better.
Yeah, having Chromatora.
I think there's a lot of things that 3 like improved on that I think people kind of don't notice because they're like very small improvements, but they add up.
Yeah. 3 probably fixed that problem with the banana coins not saving, because I think that's a problem in the SNES game as well.
Not that you use the banana coins for like too terribly much, but
Well,
in 3
no.
you do. Kind of.
It's more important there with the way you use them.
You can use it in like mini games and like you have to buy stuff. I guess they're bear coins there.
Yeah.
It is kind of weird that Land 3 uses the Diddy balloon icon, even though Diddy's not in the game.
Yeah, did Blaziken fix that?
No,
Maybe that's something you
one
can do.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on over here?
I'd have to decolorize a sprite for it, but I've always thought the Country 3 balloons always looked a little weird, though.
You think?
Well, it's they have like white eyes instead of the like flat balloon color for.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's one of those things that you don't really think about when you're playing, but I noticed it.
I have not thought about it. What the? Oh.
I do like that balloons have like stayed consistent with both the rare and the retro games, and they've kind of it's like one of the things that becomes part of the identity of the series, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Fun fact: balloons first appeared in a Donkey Kong game in the color tabletop Coleco Donkey Kong Jr. device. I don't know how to say it. It's sort of considered to be part of the Game & Watch line, but not actually made by Nintendo and that kind of thing. Yeah. It's an LCD technology game.
It is kind of amazing when you see all these like consoles that didn't make the jump from Japan.
Yeah, it's still its own self-contained unit. It's not a ColecoVision game, it's the Coleco tabletop thing. Oh, I lost all my lives too. That's another thing that wasn't saved.
Yeah.
And
I
when I
think the
beat the
SNES games are
game
like that
and
too.
return to the title screen, that counts as like resetting or game over or whatever it is that would reset that stuff. Oh, I like this. The red and the green, that works really well.
Thank you.
Ah,
Yeah, some of those tree graphics are shared with the cliff, so
oh. Yeah.
you can kind of see the left side of that tree isn't colored, and that's because that's shared with the cliff somewhere.
Interesting.
That's why it's green. Also, because it has the grass blades on the side.
Hmm.
A lot of small stuff like that. That hopefully it's not too noticeable.
No, I don't think it's distracting or anything.
It is one of those things where it's like, okay, I can see the flaws like
Yeah.
really bad. I'm like, oh, this hack sucks. But then it's like, you know, other people are like, wow, I didn't even notice.
Well, you're your own biggest critic. I have to take a phone call for a second, so just vamp for me if you would, please.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. So the other thing with this pause screen, I could talk about that. Is basically that sprite color is just one of the regular sprite colors, and I just applied it to the background. So that's how that's getting pulled off. So it's not actually changing any of the loaded palettes. It just kind of messing with a little routine. I don't know. Hopefully that's neat. I don't have anything else I can really say about the pause screen.
Oh, sorry about that, Andrew.
You're all good.
Ooh, I bought a car last week, so that was the dealership. Working out some details.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's not as big as your life news, but yeah.
Well, I'd like a car. I was just telling them about my wonderful pause screen and how the way it works
Oh, cool.
is so the thing with that is you know how some of the sprites have that like purple palette. I just apply that to every single sprite that's on screen,
Huh.
and then also apply it to the background.
Wow.
Do that. So it's not using like any newly loaded palettes. It's just the regular purple palette that's always loaded.
Oop.
And then I just change the background and save that in memory.
And that's something that you added in custom to the game because there wasn't a palette thing in the
Yeah,
original,
because
obviously.
in the non-color version it dimmed the screen, but in the color
Okay.
version of Land 3 it doesn't do that at all. So
Huh.
I had to figure out like a way to get that across without bleh, stuttering here.
Yeah.
I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was super necessary to do, but
It's a nice effect.
you know, we don't pull any stops here, so.
And that wasn't even in the README. Okay.
Yeah,
so...
I'm happy that overall it turned out. I haven't gotten too many bug reports or anything, so anything outside the README. The only things I've ever gotten were like people who don't read the README, which is a lot of people, I've learned, annoyingly.
So this is Animal Antics, one of the most dreaded stages of the original game.
Oh, you can see a brown tile in the grass there. That wasn't one of those shared tiles. You didn't even notice it.
Nope. Is this all happening on the same sort of stage in this one? There's no transitions?
There's no... Yeah, it all stays on the same map.
Oh, okay. Because, of course...
I think this is a little easier than the Animal Antics. You're missing 2 animal buddies from this too, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't
it's in the
think
original one, you go to the ice, you go to the brambles.
Yeah, I don't think you do... I think you don't do On Guard and you don't do Rattly. I think you do Squawks, maybe. I might be wrong.
Rattly?
Yeah, people never read manuals. Read me as a game tutorial. Yeah. So when I did the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon fan translation, that was like the most frustrating week of my life because there were so many people messaging me, and the answers were always in the README. I made that README so extensive that README is like a novel, and like the answer was always in the README, and I had like that was like the first time I ever had like a canned response for anything, was when I did that. Because I would just be like, okay, that's in the README, please read the README. Please read the README.
You're right, that was much easier than the SNES game.
Yeah, it's definitely, I definitely think the Lost World's a little easier here than...
Yeah, and just like
general.
that, we're at Crocodile Core, ready for the second boss fight. As he said, it's in a volcano.
There it is, lava. Like I said.
The power looks great in this one. It's good. Oh, wind! No, wait, that's just him blowing or sucking.
I can say something interesting about that wind effect.
Sure.
So every time that wind effect is loaded, it's loaded in the same place as the bubbles in memory. So I did not actually do custom code for that. It's just using blue because that's what color bubbles are. Little peek behind the curtain.
Nice.
Also, I cannot do this. Oh, that was an interesting glitch. I don't know why that happened.
The barrel disappeared. Oh no. Ah!
Yeah, you only get... It's a one and done. Yeah, this is hard.
Alright, I'm gonna grab the barrel before it goes away. Okay.
Well, then you get 2 extra hits because of Kitty.
Thank you, Kitty. Oops.
I debated adding him to the cast roll, but it would have been too hard.
Yeah, he's a silent partner. Oh gosh, this is rough. Oh, there it is. Woo!
I had to actually add special code for the video game hero screen at the end. Because since it's skinning over Diddy's sprite, I needed to make sure that Diddy was the one in the ending.
Oh, that's breathtaking. Love the gradient use in this screen.
This one was tricky because that's also another one using like an existing palette for the sinking crocodile idol. So I had to like work around that like yellow that's also used for like the DK coins down there.
I'm mad that I didn't manage to beat Yoshi. Oh well.
Well, you tied with him at least.
I guess.
You're as good a hero as Yoshi.
Well, we're gonna get the star roll again. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be the end of the stream today. That was really fun. It was great to revisit this game, and with all the changes and improvements you made it a whole fresh experience for me. Thank you very much for that. And thanks
for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and talking about all the stuff you did and what a pain it was. Really fascinating stuff to hear. It was great. Do you have any last comments?
No, I think you know, give it a play. I worked hard on it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it was worth it, and you know, definitely I'm not 100% happy with it. I got a lot of complaints, but not things that other people care about, I guess.
I think the last thing I want to say is that anyone who watched this would have noticed a lot of graphical glitches in the sprites. I want to reiterate that is a function of the emulator that I chose to use. Some emulators will run this better than others. So what's the recommended way that you would say to play this patch?
Well, most people use Visual Boy Advanced still, even though it's very inaccurate. But in this case, like, the inaccuracies actually make it look better. So,
okay.
So yeah, use that. That's one that I used during testing. Basically, I tested like a couple emulators while I was working on it. So this is about what it would look like if you played it on a real Game Boy, I think.
Okay.
So it's just like very minor graphical flubs, but hopefully someday someone who understands this game's graphics engine can come in and clean it up. But
you want Robert Harrison to come out of retirement and fix his game?
Nice. I have thought about just asking Rare Devs, like, okay, how did you do this for Land 3? Because they did fix this completely for Land 3. It just works. What's it called? I think the first one. He gave code for 2.
Okay, I was gonna say.
That was special guest Adam.
Was like super
we can barely hear him coming through.
He's just talking about like the different devs, like maybe who would be the one to ask. I do like how it just ends on puffed up. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah. There's a few missing enemies, like because Haunted Hall got revamped, they don't have cackle, etc., etc. Also, I think there might have been a typo in the credits, judging by what Moby Games had listed. Like C gauge.
Oh, B gun credited there.
Yep,
you were
there you
saying
go.
Earlier.
That was Brendan Gunn, brother of Carrie Gunn. I'm just doing a quick search here for what I was talking about. Credits. Yeah, they've got on Moby Games, somebody has made a mistake when uploading the credits. C Cage as one of the credits for the original game instead of C Gage, which is Chris Gage. Maybe I'll fix that. Anyway. Yeah, so that's going to be the end of the stream for this week. Again, thank you very much to Ape.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I brought something to it.
Oh, you absolutely did. 100%. 110%. Oh, yeah.
And thanks for talking also.
I was just thinking about what I'm going to do next week. I might play a game based on Serial, but only if I can get it working. There was a Kellogg's game in 1999, Mission Nutrition, that's like a Donkey Kong Country like ripoff in a way.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it might be
I always
fun.
feel bad that I miss your streams because they're always like right after ours. So
Yeah, that's okay.
My one would be,
Likewise, with your streams, I sometimes check them out, but not as often as I'd like. They're always a lot of fun. Go check out DK Vine's Idaho Crew streams.
every Tuesday at 5 Pacific.
Yeah,
Wednesday for not.
or 10 a.m. my time, I believe. Yeah.
I was wondering about that. I'm bad with time zones.
All right, so let's end it there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.